Chapter 1880. Kid, want to run? A man and a woman, one fat and one thin. The man looked wretched, while the woman looked coquettish. As soon as the two arrived, they sensed the aura of the other party, a grade 2 starry sky cultivator. If they could devour a grade 2 starry sky essence spirit, even if they did not have a 100% chance of breaking through to grade 2 starry sky cultivator, they would at least have an 80% chance. With such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, how could the two choose to give up easily? Attack. They didn't even say a word of nonsense. The two of them were already heading towards Longao. A tiger would be bullied by a dog. If it were Longao at his peak, would the two dare to attack him? They would most likely turn around and run away. It was precisely because Longao's main body was not here, with only his essence spirit left, that the two grade 1 starry sky cultivators dared to attack him. This was human nature, bullying the weak and fearing the strong, whether it was an ordinary person or a powerful starry sky cultivator. They retreated again and again. Longao knew his current situation, so of course, he would not fight the two head-on. Although his essence spirit had left his body, Longao could still use teleportation. Under the constant changes, the two could not catch up with Longao's speed. It was a shock. The two never thought that the other party's speed would be so fast. What should we do? Outflank him. A man and a woman, separated from each other, quickly rushed towards Longao from the left and right. Before they arrived, the two tried to release the powerful starry sky force to suppress the other party. In the end, the two were too confident. Even if Longao's main body was not here, they would not be suppressed by the starry sky force. You're looking for death. Being chased by the two, even Longao felt a little angry. It was not that he could not beat the two, but because he could not attack. If the Heaven Martial Plane took this opportunity to move, where would he find the Heaven Martial Plane? However, people were always so cheap. The more you acted like this, the more the other party would chase after you. Ha ha ha, kid, let's see what you can do. Without waiting for the two to finish, Longao drew a line in the air towards the two. A shocking scene happened. The starry sky crack suddenly appeared, and before the man could react, the starry sky crack directly swallowed him. Under the spatial rift, there was almost no chance of survival. The girl's speed was faster, so she wasn't swallowed by the spatial crack. Even so, the woman was completely scared out of her wit. She screamed as if she had seen a ghost. She turned around and left quickly. Her speed was as fast as it could be. In the blink of an eye, she had disappeared without a trace. Longao didn't give chase. This time, he could kill a starry sky cultivator in one fell swoop and scare away another starry sky cultivator. It was all thanks to his shattering starry skies. It was hard to imagine. If he hadn't reached the 5th cycle of reincarnation and possessed the ability to shatter the starry sky, it would have been very difficult for him to withstand the attacks of the two of them. There would only be one final outcome, being devoured by the two of them. He had to return to the Sky Martial Continent. Good luck could not always favor him. This time, he might have killed one person with the help of shattering starry skies and scared away another. But what about the next starry sky cultivator? Longao could almost affirm that if the person who came was a starry sky cultivator of grade 3 or above, how could he resist? Even if he had the ability to shatter the starry sky, it would still be difficult for him to kill the other party. In that case, he would still die without a doubt. Therefore, he had to return to the Sky Martial Continent as soon as possible and return to his original body. Only then could he protect himself. Staring at the Sky Martial Plane in front of him, Longao thought about it. For a while, he couldn't think of a better way to enter the Sky Martial Continent. Not to mention the current him, even if he was at his peak, it would be impossible for him to break the seal. The only way was to find the Starry Sky Region Emperor. But could he find him? The Sky Martial Continent began to move again. Just as Longao was about to continue following, a terrifying aura was suddenly released. It was less than 100 meters away from Longao's position. This was luck. If Longao was not here, but on the other side of the plain, then even if Long Fu, Xiling, and Bai Ling joined forces, it would be a little troublesome. Master, come in quickly. Hearing Long Fu's words, Longao was delighted. He was immediately enveloped by the light of the dragon seal. In the next second, he disappeared from the vast starry sky, entering the dragon seal's space. Finding the weakest point, Xiling, Bai Ling, and even Long Fu worked together to break the seal. If the two of them had been at their peak, it wouldn't have been a problem. But now, whether it was Xiling or Bai Ling, their yuan spirits had been heavily injured. It had not been easy for them to recover to the starry sky. Now, the damage to the two of them would be magnified infinitely. That was precisely the case. Xiling had already decided that after breaking the seal and saving Longao, the two of them could not stay any longer. Although it would be more dangerous to return to the starry sky, their recovery speed would be much faster than on the sky martial continent. Outer Sea, Crystal Cavern. Opening his eyes, the god diviner's expression changed. He had never imagined that someone would be able to break his seal. Furthermore, this person wasn't outside this plane, but within it. The god diviner's figure vanished. In the next second, he appeared at the edge of the plane. Xiling. God diviner, long time no see. How have you been? The god diviner was shocked to see his old acquaintance Xiling. But when he saw that Xiling's true body had been destroyed and only his yuan spirit remained, his expression changed once more. God diviner, there is no enmity between us. Back then, the two of us were stranded here. Now, we want to leave and return to the starry sky. You won't stop us, right? If Xiling and Bai Ling were at their peak, the god diviner naturally wouldn't stop them. After all, Xiling and Bai Ling's power was obvious. But now, the situation was completely different. The god diviner, Xiling, and Bai Ling had already left this plane. They were outside the martial heaven continent, in other words, in the starry sky. If I devour your yuan spirits, my power will advance. Although I won't be able to reach that level, I think I'll be close. What do you think? Xiling and Bai Ling didn't show the slightest fear. Xiling sneered, you're right. Devouring our yuan spirits will be of great help to you. However, you can try it. If we self-detonate our yuan spirits, you won't be able to block it. At that time, the three of us will die and enter the cycle of reincarnation. What do you think? Hearing Xiling's threat, the god diviner's expression changed. He knew that Xiling's threat was real. If the two of them really chose to self-detonate, even he wouldn't be able to block such a terrifying attack. Chapter 1881. If there's nothing else, we'll be taking our leave. Xiling and Bai Ling didn't waste any more words. They turned and left. Seeing the two of them disappear, the god diviner's expression grew gloomier. He had long since known that Xiling and Bai Ling had entered the martial heaven continent. However, he hadn't known that the two of them were with Longao. The god diviner's intentions had been very simple. He had wanted to raise the two of them first. Once he was strong enough, he would deal with them. But the result? Before he could do anything, Xiling and Bai Ling had already left. The god diviner knew that Xiling and Bai Ling had been afraid that he would attack first, so they had taken the initiative. Now that the two of them had left, there wouldn't be such a rare opportunity in the future. There was no need to gamble. In the end, the god diviner was afraid. Attacking was a gamble. If he won, his strength would advance. But what if he lost? He sighed deeply. The god diviner returned to the martial heaven continent and repaired the seal. His yuan spirit returned to his main body. However, as soon as Longao returned, he impatiently entered the dragon seal space. It seemed he already knew what had happened. Long Fu, how do I leave the martial heaven continent? After listening to Long Fu's explanation, Longao understood what had happened. In the end, the two of them had been forced to break the seal in order to save him. In other words, Xiling and Bai Ling had already left the martial heaven continent and entered the starry sky. No one knew whether they were alive or dead. If Xiling and Bai Ling were in their peak condition, Longao wouldn't be worried. After all, the two of them were strong enough to dominate the starry sky. Even the God Diviner wouldn't be a match for them. Even with their Yuan spirits, the God Diviner hadn't been able to keep them. However, the current situation was completely different. Xiling and Bai Ling's main bodies had already died. Only their Yuan spirits remained. Once they entered the starry sky, it was easy to imagine what would happen. Master, I have no way to break the seal. Longao knew that if even Long Fu was unable to break the seal, then it would be even more impossible for others. As for himself, he didn't even need to think about it. Could it be that the two of them had to face it alone? He blamed himself. Guilt. Longao could not understand why his primordial spirit would leave his body for no reason. Furthermore, his primordial spirit had broken through the seal and entered the vast starry sky. If not for this, Xiling and Bai Ling would not have left the sky martial continent. Master, in a year, I can leave the martial heaven continent with you. 1 year? 1 year was too long, because Longao knew very well that many things could happen in 1 year. Master, it might not be a bad thing for the two young ladies to leave the martial heaven continent and return to the starry sky. What do you mean? Longao was very curious because Xiling and Bai Ling's situation was obvious. Once they entered the vast universe, it would be very dangerous and they could be swallowed at any time. How was that not a bad thing? Master, I'm sure you've already guessed Xiling and Bai Ling's strength. If they stay in this middle-grade plane, their recovery speed will be too slow. If they enter the starry sky, my guess is that their recovery speed will increase by hundreds of times. So that's how it was. Even so, he was still incomparably worried. However, there was no way around it. No matter how worried he was, there was no way he could leave the martial heaven continent and enter the starry sky. If he told the God Diviner, wouldn't he be exposing his relationship with the two of them? At that time, it would be even more troublesome. Now that things had reached this point, what choice did he have? He could only choose to leave the martial heaven continent in a year and enter the starry sky to search for the two of them. Longao sat quietly on the ground. For a moment, he had yet to regain his senses. Master, there's only one thing you need to do now. Stabilize your cultivation base and increase your strength as quickly as possible. Long Fu continued, in the vast starry sky there are countless experts. Master, if you're not strong enough, once you enter the starry sky, not only will you not be able to save the two young ladies, but even you will not be able to save them. At this point, Long Fu did not continue. Longao wasn't a fool. He naturally understood. Long Fu was right. He had to pull himself together. If he wasn't strong enough, even if he could enter the starry sky, it would be futile. At that time, not only would he not be able to find the two of them, he might even lose his life. After leaving the Scarlet Flame Town, Longao didn't return to the Massacre Abyss. With his current power, he believed that as long as someone wasn't blind, they wouldn't dare to cause trouble in the Massacre Abyss. 9 provinces continent. Sky continent, Earth continent, Sun continent, Moon continent, Setting Sun continent, Cloud continent, Scarlet continent, Illusion continent, and Black Forest continent. A total of 9 provinces. Longao stayed in the Sky continent. He didn't cultivate on the spot. Instead, he prepared to walk around, hoping to merge with heaven and earth and stabilize his cultivation base as quickly as possible. Just at this moment. Big brother, someone's calling me. What do you mean? Longao was very curious. He didn't know who was calling Long Ming. 9 nether space. 9 nether space? Longao already understood what Long Ming meant. In this case, he could only go to the 9 nether space. However, it was obviously not enough to rely on his strength alone. Even if he had broken through to the starry sky cultivator, things would be much easier with Long Ming's help. At the passage. With the help of treasures and Long Ao's strength, Long Ming quickly opened the passage to the 9 nether space. 9 nether earthly tiger, abyss demon scorpion, blue sky lion, blood-eyed demonic ape, heavenly mountain bull, bloodthirsty human-faced spider, gold-devouring flying ant, hell demon dog, and reaper mantis. Long Ming had already destroyed the other 8 races. In other words, only the 9 nether peak remained in the 9 nether space. Who was calling Long Ming? Big brother, over there. Long Ao didn't hesitate at all. He quickly went to the left. On the top of a cold mountain, a man in black sat quietly. There was no expression on his face, like a zombie. Are you calling me? Yes, you are Long Ao? Yes. Did the other party know him? As if sensing something, Long Ao's face changed dramatically. It would appear that you've already guessed it. Back then, when you entered my training grounds, you nearly caused the destruction of my Yuan spirit. However, you don't have to worry. I've not called you all here for revenge. Instead, I've come to help you all. Help us? Long Ao didn't quite believe it because he could clearly sense that the man in black in front of him was very powerful. He was at least a level 7 starry sky cultivator. Even if the 4 of them joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for such a super existence. Senior, we don't understand what you mean. Chapter 1882. My name is 9 Nether. Starry Sky Domain Lord? Long Ao and Long Ming's expressions changed when they sensed the powerful aura released by the other party. 9 Nether Domain Lord. It turned out that the other party wasn't a starry sky cultivator at all, but a genuine starry sky domain lord. Little guy, you're from the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan, but you're not? Senior, what do you mean? You and I are from the same clan called the 9 Nether clan, and you're also a 9 Nether Tiger. The 9 Nether Domain Lord released a very strange power, but Long Ming's expression changed drastically because the aura was almost exactly the same as his. There was no doubt that the 9 Nether Domain Lord was telling the truth. He wasn't from the 9 Nether Earthly Tiger clan at all, but from the 9 Nether clan. Then who are you, Senior? You can just call me Grandpa. For some reason, Long Ming suddenly felt that the 9 Nether Domain Lord in front of him was very amiable, and he subconsciously called out, Grandpa. Long Ao didn't stop him. He could clearly sense that the 9 Nether Domain Lord in front of him didn't have the slightest malice toward Long Ming. Okay. The 9 Nether Domain Lord got up and came in front of Long Ming. He stretched out his hand and gently stroked Long Ming's head with a doting expression. Senior 9 Nether, what do you mean? Just tell me. Long Ao knew very well that the 9 Nether Domain Lord couldn't have summoned the 2 of them for a simple reunion. Did the 9 Nether Domain Lord want to keep Long Ming? Sure enough. Long Ao, you're a straightforward person. I never thought that you and Long Ming could break through to Starry Sky Cultivator in such a short time. What I mean is very simple. Long Ming will follow me from now on, and I'll let him inherit the 9 Nether Clan's legacy. He'll become a Starry Sky Domain Lord in at least 10 years, or at most 100 years. I don't want to. I want to follow Big Brother. Long Ao wasn't as impulsive as Long Ming. If Long Ming could really inherit the 9 Nether Clan's legacy and become a Starry Sky Domain Lord, then it would indeed be much better for him to stay by the 9 Nether Domain Lord's side. Senior 9 Nether, then I'll have to trouble you. Okay. The 9 Nether Patriarch was not surprised at all. He seemed to have guessed that Long Ao would definitely agree to his request. Long Ming, listen to me. Stay here and cultivate. Come look for me when you break through to the Starry Sky Region Lord Realm. Since Long Ao had made up his mind, he would not change it. Long Ming had been with his elder brother for so long, so he was very clear about his elder brother's personality. Once he had decided on something, he would not change his mind under normal circumstances. He nodded. Long Ming said reluctantly, Big brother, you must be careful. Once you accept the inheritance and break through to the cosmic domain lord level, I will definitely come and find you. Longao smiled. It was a good thing that Long Ming had a good home. Longao was just a little reluctant. In just one day, Xiling and Bai Ling had left first, and then Long Ming had stayed behind. It was as if all his energy had been sucked out. Longao, thank you for taking care of Long Ming for so many years. I have something for you. The Nine Nether Domain Lord took out a piece of clothing and said, "This is called the Nine Nether Armor. Once you wear it, you can withstand the attacks of any cultivator below the Starry Sky region Lord level." Longao, who had wanted to refuse, suddenly heard the power of the Nine Nether Armor and took it with one hand. Even if he did not use it, he could give it to Aoshue. After all, Aoshue had been pregnant for many years. What would he do if something happened to her? Thank you, Senior. You're welcome. Longao stayed in the Nine Nether Space for 3 days before he got up and left. He did not continue to stay outside. After Xiling, Bai Ling, and Long Ming left one after another, Longao seemed to feel a little tired and wanted to return to the Massacre Abyss. The Massacre Abyss. The first thing Longao did when he returned was to give the Nine Nether Armor that he had just obtained to Aoshue. Not only that, Longao also gave the Ice and Fire 9-layered cauldron that he had obtained to Long Ying. As his cultivation broke through to the second level of the Starry Sky cultivator, this Starry Sky divine weapon did not seem to be of much use. Brother Long, what's wrong with you? Looking at the dispirited Longao, both Aoshue and Yu Yin seemed a little curious. They did not know what had happened to their brother Long. After going out for a trip, he had become a little different. So far, no one knew about Xiling, Bai Ling, and Long Ming. Longao did not hide anything and roughly told them everything that had happened before. So that was it. Aoshue and Yu Yin finally understood why Brother Long was like this. After losing Xiling, Bai Ling, and Long Ming, he must be unhappy. The two of them looked at each other and sighed helplessly. Brother Long, Sister Bai Ling just went to the vast starry sky and did not do anything. After a year, we will accompany you to the vast starry sky and look for Sister Bai Ling. And how do you feel after devouring the starry sky divine deities? Not bad. I have a hunch that Sister Aoshue and I will be able to break through to the starry sky cultivator realm in a month at most. A month was not a long time, but it was not short either. The two devoured the starry sky divine deities. At this rate, they should be able to reach the third level of the starry sky cultivator realm in a year. However, according to the intensity of the catastrophe, not to mention a third level, even a 9th level starry sky cultivator might not be able to handle it. He did not continue with the matter of the 9th level Bai Ling and Long Ming because the most important thing now was to think about how to deal with the catastrophe in a year's time. If anything went wrong, not only himself, but the entire Dragon Valley would fall into eternal damnation. Aoshue, how's your stomach? Longao felt a deep sense of helplessness at the thought of his child being so awesome. He had never seen a monster who started cultivating in the womb. It was hard to imagine what kind of strength this child would have once he was born. Would he be a Xiantian realm cultivator directly? Aoshue rubbed her stomach happily and said, "Since I devoured all kinds of energy, I can feel his strength. I don't know if my feeling is right, but I found that our child seems to have the strength of a great emperor." The strength of a great emperor? Longao swallowed his saliva fiercely. Even if he started cultivating in the womb, this kind of cultivation speed was a little terrifying. Now that he was a great emperor realm cultivator in the womb, what would happen once he was born? Would he be a Nirvana realm cultivator directly? Longao was shocked to the extreme because he never thought that his child would be so powerful. But at the same time, he was very worried. Aoshue, how is your body? Tell me if there is any reaction, don't stretch yourself, understand? P.S. Why didn't everyone vote? The votes didn't go up today, it's depressing. Chapter 1883. Longao was very worried about Aoshua's safety. Although the child was gifted and had started cultivating in the womb, it still needed to devour a lot of energy. Aoshua smiled. In the vast starry sky. The vast starry sky was boundless. Even the starry sky domain emperor could not reach the edge of the vast starry sky. In other words, no one knew how big the vast starry sky was. Xiling and Bai Ling worked together to break the seal and shield, but their primordial spirits were damaged again and were very weak. If they were in their prime, they would not be afraid of any starry sky cultivators. They could do whatever they wanted in the vast starry sky. But now? Xiling and Bai Ling were very careful because they knew very well that if they encountered any starry sky cultivators, they would be doomed. Bai Ling, do you regret it? Bai Ling, of course, knew what her sister meant. Smiling, Bai Ling said with a happy face, I have no regrets. These 4 simple words were enough to explain Bai Ling's intentions. Sister, are we really going back to that place? You don't want to? We've been there for countless years. I'm tired of life there. If possible, I don't want to go back. Not only Bai Ling, but Xiling also did not want to go back. But could they not go back? With a deep sigh, Xiling said helplessly, with our current injuries, staying in the vast starry sky will only lead to death. This time, we'll try to recover our primordial spirits in the shortest time possible. Bai Ling, don't forget what you promised me. Sister, I remember. Starry sky primordial spirits. At this moment, suddenly, many starry sky cultivators shot over from not far away. Greed was written all over their faces because they could clearly sense how powerful the two's primordial spirits were. Get out of my way. Xiling began to attack wildly. Although his primordial spirit had not recovered, Xiling's strength was not something that ordinary starry sky cultivators could compete with. Sister, let's go. If you force yourself to use the power of the origin, it will hurt your foundation. Xiling and Bai Ling turned around and left quickly. The two of them were extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared into the vast starry sky. Long Batian and Tian Dao sensed it at the same time. The two of them stood up and headed towards the Crystal Palace. Outer Sea. In the Crystal Palace. You two know? The two of them looked at each other, and Tian Dao said, Who is the Oracle? He was actually able to break through the seal that you set up. Both Long Batian and Heaven Dao were shocked. Neither of them could figure out who it was that had broken through Master God Diviner's sealing barrier. It was simply unbelievable. Xiling, Bai Ling, is known as the strongest Jianling in the vast universe. Her attack power is number 1. She used to be invincible in the vast universe. With such a domineering background, I don't know why their true bodies died, and only their primordial spirits remained. Furthermore, they entered the Tianwu plane. I miscalculated. If I had known this would happen, I would have dealt with them. Regret. Regret was unbearable. If he had acted earlier, he would have had the opportunity to devour the 2 Jianling. That way, his strength would have improved further. But what was the result? Everything was gone. Seeing that Master God Diviner's expression didn't look too good, the two of them didn't continue asking. Both of you have reached the Cosmic Zone Lord level. You are qualified to enter the 4th space of the Cosmic Secret Realm. The two of them were delighted to hear that. They had stayed here for so many years because they wanted to enter the 4th or even the 5th space of the Cosmic Secret Realm. Otherwise, they would have left long ago. You have 1 year to prepare. Once the catastrophe is over, you can enter. F***CK. The two of them cursed in their hearts. However, the Cosmic Secret Realm was still under Master God Diviner's control. As long as Master God Diviner didn't agree, the two of them couldn't enter, even if they had reached the Cosmic Zone Lord level. You don't want to? No, we will follow your arrangements. Long Baotian's attitude was as respectful as it could be because he understood that everything he had was given to him by Master God Diviner. If Master God Diviner could give him what he wanted, he could also take everything away. Tian Dao was different. He was proud and arrogant. He had always thought that his talent was far superior to Master God Diviner's, so he wanted to take over Master God Diviner's position and control the cosmic secret realm. Master God Diviner knew what Tian Dao was thinking, but he didn't take Tian Dao seriously. Tian Dao left. Long Batian thought for a moment and said, Master God Diviner, Longao's cultivation has just reached the second level of the cosmic secret realm. Even if he is talented, he can only reach the third level in a year. Given his strength, once he enters the fourth space of the cosmic secret realm, I'm afraid he will die. What do you mean? Master God Diviner asked instead of answering directly. Long Batian was sincerely concerned about Longao's safety. Although Longao was the reincarnation of that person, he was still his junior disciple. Thinking of this, Long Batian said, Master God Diviner, what I mean is very simple. I hope that Longao will not enter the cosmic secret realm in a year. It won't be too late for him to enter when the next space opens. Long Baotian's meaning was very clear. For the sake of Longao's safety, he didn't want Longao to enter the cosmic secret realm in a year. The marvelous mathematician's face was very indifferent. His voice was even more indifferent as he said, This matter depends on Longao's opinion. If the Starry Sky secret land opens a year later and Longao does not want to enter, I will not force him. Are you satisfied? Yes, thank you, Master God Diviner. If there is nothing else, you can leave first. Master God Diviner directly asked Long Batian to leave. If it had been anyone else, would they have dared to do this? Long Batian was a ruler of the Starry Sky. Let alone the martial heaven continent, even in the Starry Sky, he was an overlord. However, due to the difference in power, Master God Diviner definitely had the qualifications to do this. Long Batian wasn't dissatisfied. Yes, please. Long Batian tactfully turned and left. In the blink of an eye, he had left the Crystal Palace and the outer sea. The only person left in the Crystal Palace was Master God Diviner. Suddenly, Master God Diviner sneered and muttered, No one can stop me. No matter who it is, anyone who dares to stop me will be killed without mercy. Killing intent erupted from Master God Diviner's body, enveloping the Crystal Palace. The two people who had just left couldn't help sucking in cold breaths when they sensed that killing intent. Author's note: My knuckles hurt terribly. I went to have them checked in the afternoon, but the doctor said I should rest more. When I came back, my wife wouldn't let me continue. There's no way around it. I promised everyone that I would do it. This is the 6th chapter. Even if I don't sleep tonight, I'll finish the remaining 4 chapters. Chapter 1884. What's going on? Tian Dao and Long Batian didn't know why the divine mathematician would suddenly erupt with such a powerful murderous aura. Kill the chicken to warn the monkey? Was it deliberately for the two of them to see? Tian Dao and Long Batian felt helpless. Even if they were unhappy, what could they do? Who told the divine mathematician to be so powerful? If they could break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, would they still be like this? Massacre Abyss. Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Demon Dragon swallowed Su Tian's power, and through the secret technique of the Evil Eye Demon Dragon clan, the two finally broke through to the second level of Starry Sky Cultivator and successfully reached the third level of Starry Sky Cultivator. Su Renfeng, this is an array formation. We can't break in casually. Hearing this, Su Renfeng's face grew gloomier and gloomier. Longao, come out and die. Even if the other party could break through the Starry Sky, under the absolute gap in the Starry Sky realm, the two were full of confidence and didn't put Longao in their eyes. It turned out to be the two of you, outside the abyss. As soon as Longao stepped out, he sensed the aura released by the two. It turned out that the two's cultivation had smoothly broken through to the third level of Starry Sky cultivator. No wonder they dared to come looking for trouble. Longao never would have thought that the two people's speed of improvement would be so fast. It was true that what he feared came true. "Are you afraid?" Su Renfeng said sarcastically. "Longao, today I will tear you to pieces." It seemed that they couldn't even wait for a second. One man and one dragon began to attack Longao crazily. In the case of a head-on collision, Longao was very clear that it was impossible to rely on his own strength to be the opponent of one man and one dragon. With the help of teleportation, Longao's body was extremely fast. It was almost impossible for the man and the dragon to defeat Longao in terms of speed by relying on their cultivation realm. "Longao, hiding here and there, what kind of hero are you? If you have the ability, fight us fairly." "Fair fight?" Longao said with a smile. "Su Renfeng, today I will let you see what it means to come and not return." His heart thumped. A bad premonition appeared. Did Longao have another move? It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. The lesson from the past was there. Longao counterattacked time and time again, causing one person and one dragon to have no confidence. Speaking of which, it was laughable. 2 Grade 3 Starry Sky cultivators actually feared a Grade 2 Starry Sky cultivator. If this matter was spread out in the vast Starry Sky, no one would believe it. "Brother Evil Eye, what should we do now?" Su Renfeng was very timid. Strictly speaking, he was afraid of death. If it weren't for the bloodline contract, the Evil Eye Dragon would have slapped Su Renfeng to death. "Kill!" Before the man and the dragon could make a move, Longao had already made the first move, slashing towards the two of them. The man and the dragon had already seen Longao's shattering Starry Skies. Even if their cultivation had smoothly broken through to Grade 3 Starry Skies cultivators, once the Starry Skies cracks swallowed them, they would still end up dead. Not to mention them, even the Starry Sky Domain Lord wouldn't dare to be swallowed by a spatial tear. Dodge. The man and the dragon didn't know where Longao would open the Starry Skies cracks. They could only deal with the situation by sticking to the status quo. Otherwise, once they moved, the Starry Skies cracks would swallow them, and the consequences would be unimaginable. Longao also went all out. According to his strength, he could at most slash 3 to 5 times in a row, and he couldn't do it continuously. However, at this moment, in order to eliminate the root of the problem and smoothly kill the man and the dragon, Longao used all the strength in his body and slashed 6 times in a row. What kind of concept was this? 6 terrifying Starry Skies cracks appeared. This was also because Longao couldn't completely control the shattering Starry Skies. Otherwise, Longao could have aimed at the enemy and the Starry Skies cracks would have directly descended on the cultivator. Who could resist Longao's shattering Starry Skies? However, it wasn't an easy thing to do. The man and the dragon dodged left and right, seemingly frightened and unable to get close. Not only that, the Starry Skies cracks seemed to be able to swallow everything. If this continued, they would be swallowed sooner or later. The man and the dragon didn't dare to continue fighting. This was because the man and the dragon didn't know if Longao could continue using the shattering Starry Skies. If he could, then there would always be a chance. What if the two of them were swallowed by the Starry Skies cracks? Retreat. With no other choice, the man and the dragon turned around and quickly left. After a short while, they disappeared without a trace. Looking at the gradually disappearing figures, Longao didn't chase after them. He sighed deeply in his heart. He had just used the shattering Starry Skies 6 times in a row, but he still hadn't succeeded in killing the man and the dragon. It was impossible for him to continue using the shattering Starry Skies in a short period of time. The man and the dragon's luck was good. If their luck wasn't good, they would have been swallowed by the Starry Skies cracks and died without a doubt. Helplessly shrugging, Longao also turned and returned to the slaughter abyss. the man and the dragon finally retreated. If they had continued to attack, it was hard to say who would have died. However, this was a matter of courage. If it were Longao, he would have continued to try. About tens of thousands of meters away from the slaughter abyss. Big Brother Evil Eye, Longao has such an abnormal spirit power. We can't kill him at all. What should we do now? This person will always be a big problem for us if we don't get rid of him. How could Su Renfeng not know this? Knowing was one thing, doing was another. Originally, he thought that since the two of them had broken through to Grade 3 Starry Skies cultivators, they could easily kill Longao, even if Longao had an abnormal spirit power. But what was the result? Longao's shattering Starry Skies was too abnormal. If it had been something else, it wouldn't have mattered. However, the Starry Skies cracks were the nemesis of Starry Skies cultivators. Once they were swallowed, they would die without a doubt. Su Renfeng was almost certain that Longao must have obtained such a powerful spirit power in the Starry Skies secret realm. He had also entered the Starry Skies secret realm, so why couldn't he obtain such a powerful spirit power? It was simply infuriating. Su Renfeng, the only way now is to use the power of all the Starry Skies cultivators in the world to deal with Longao. In this way, you and I don't have to take the risk. Then what should we do? Su Renfeng still didn't understand. How could they make everyone in the world deal with Longao? Today, Longao's strength was there. Under the powerful deterrence, not to mention others, even the Thousand Beasts' ancestor and Xing Kuan didn't dare to casually provoke Longao. The evil-eye demon dragon thought for a moment and said, "We will immediately spread the news that Longao obtained a spirit power in the Starry Skies secret realm, a spirit power that can shatter the Starry Skies. I can almost guarantee that once this news spreads, there will be countless people coming to cause trouble for Longao." P.S. Chapter 7 delivered, 3 more chapters. Chapter 1885. Without the slightest hesitation. One man and one dragon couldn't wait to kill Longao right away. They were also greedy and wanted to obtain Longao's shattering the Starry Sky martial technique. However, one man and one dragon knew very well that it would be very dangerous for the two of them to deal with Longao rashly. It wasn't worth it at all. If they killed Longao and took the martial technique, everything would be good. If they failed, they would have to pay with their lives. Killing with a borrowed knife was foolproof. When the time came, wouldn't it be better to reap the benefits of the fisherman? In just one short day, the news that Longao had obtained a heaven-defying martial technique in the Starry Sky secret realm had spread throughout the Tianwu continent. Everyone knew about it. In fact, one man and one dragon didn't know that Longao's shattering the Starry Sky martial technique was not obtained from the Starry Sky secret realm, but from cultivating the 9-cycle reincarnation sword. Even if they killed Longao, they might not be able to obtain this heaven-defying divine ability. It shocked the world. Everyone was very greedy and afraid of Longao. Not to mention greed, because no one didn't want to obtain such a heaven-defying martial technique. Not to mention ordinary people, just the Starry Sky cultivators wanted to obtain it immediately, because with such a heaven-defying martial technique, they could kill enemies above their level. Let's talk about fear first. Purple Thunder Ancestor and the others had a good relationship with Longao, so the stronger Longao was, the happier they would be. Xing Kuan and the others were different. They were like fire and water with Longao. To put it more seriously, it was either you die or I die. The stronger Longao was, the more unfavorable it would be for them. The best way was to kill him and eliminate all future troubles. Today, Longao's cultivation had not only broken through to the Starry Sky, but also possessed a heaven-defying martial technique. According to Longao's heaven-defying talent, if this continued, who would be a match for him in the future? Everyone was ready to make a move. They were afraid of Longao, but no one was willing to take the lead. Massacre Abyss. The four from Mount Yunluo, who had just received the news, were worried. They immediately went to Longao and reported the situation to him. Longao was not surprised at all because he had already guessed who was behind this. If nothing unexpected happened, it was definitely the work of a man and a dragon. They wanted to kill him with a borrowed knife, borrow the hands of everyone in the world to kill him, and then reap the benefit. "Master, what should we do?" The three of them were very worried because the powers of the world could not be underestimated. If everyone joined forces to deal with the dragon sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. Let's wait and see. Wait and see. Seeing that the master wasn't worried at all, the four of them were completely dumbfounded. They didn't know where the master's confidence came from. This was a place where everyone was eyeing covetously. If they weren't careful, the sect would be doomed eternally. "You don't have to worry." How could he not be worried? Although the dragon sect's branch had been created by Longao, the ones who had truly put in effort were Luli and the other two. Even the chief-elects hadn't put in much effort, because in their eyes, there was only the formation. If you want to kill someone with a borrowed knife, you have to see if you have the qualifications. Although everyone in the world wants to destroy the dragon sect, kill me, Longao, and steal my treasures and martial skills, I can guarantee that no one will dare to attack. "Master, why is that?" Seeing the master so confident, the four of them didn't know why, but they gradually relaxed. They were no longer as worried and nervous as before. This was the confidence of a powerful master. If it had been Su Renfeng, he would have been scared half to death before his subordinates could do anything. It was easy to imagine what the result would be. With the dragon sect's current power, we can definitely dominate the martial heaven continent. If everyone attacked together, perhaps we would have some fear. But if it was just one sect or one or two people, so what if they attacked? Confidence. Seeing the master's confidence, the four of them looked at each other and instantly became resolute. Since the master was so confident, the four of them didn't need to worry. They swore to live and die with the sect. Just as Longao had guessed, although everyone in the world wanted to kill Longao and steal his powerful martial skills, no one dared to attack. That was because everyone knew that the bird that stuck its head out would never have a good ending. In the face of death, no one was afraid. Outside the massacre abyss, there was a sea of people. For 3 whole days, no one dared to casually enter the massacre abyss. This was Longao's current deterrence. Everyone, listen up. Just as everyone was quietly observing the changes, wanting to see how Longao would react, within the massacre abyss, Longao's voice suddenly came out, instantly spreading to everyone's ears. Everyone was shocked. The strength of a second-grade Starry Sky cultivator wasn't just for show. Since leaving the Starry Sky secret realm, no matter how many Starry Sky godheads they had devoured, the strongest cultivator was only a second-grade Starry Sky cultivator. Except for Su Renfeng and the evil-eye demon dragon, Longao was qualified to be arrogant. Everyone, listen up. Those who dare to take a step into the massacre abyss will be killed without mercy. Those who dare to surpass the sword mark will be killed without mercy. Those who dare to attack the dragon sect will be killed without mercy. Kill without mercy, kill without mercy, kill without mercy. The 3 words kill without mercy shocked everyone. They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. Longao's arrogance was a kind of attitude that was, he didn't put the world in his eyes. Before the crowd could even react, the sword qi had already surged forth before Zhang Xian. A 10,000-foot-long sword qi shot out. It was the 4th form of the 36 forms of reincarnation that Longao had used, the reincarnation rainbow. Everyone was scared out of their wit. One by one, they quickly retreated. The powerful warriors and the fast warriors managed to escape the calamity. However, there were many warriors who were directly swallowed by the sword qi and turned into nothingness. Regardless of whether it was their physical bodies or their divine souls, they all vanished into thin air. Longao, you're too arrogant. Seeing so many people being engulfed by the sword aura, Xing Kun and the others were also endlessly shocked because they never would have thought that Longao would attack as soon as he said he would. He simply did not give them any face and directly killed so many people. But one had to know. Among the people who were swallowed by the sword chi, many were disciples of the 10-direction tripod, and they were all very talented disciples. Losing so many people at once, even the 10-direction tripod couldn't bear it. No one answered. Except for Xing Kun and the others, everyone else stared blankly ahead, because in front of them, there was a huge sword scar that was tens of thousands of feet long. Until now, the sword scar was still exuding a terrifying murderous aura. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to withstand such a remnant sword chi. Was this the strength of a starry sky cultivator? Was this Longao's sword chi? With such a terrifying sword chi, even Xing Kun and the others were a little scared. If they were facing Longao, would they be able to withstand such a terrifying sword chi from Longao? P.S. The 8th chapter has been delivered. There are still 2 chapters. Little 9 will try to be as fast as possible. My knuckles hurt so much that I have to use a hot towel to write. Otherwise, I can't write because of the pain. It's 12 o'clock. I hope everyone can vote for Longao. At least there are recommendation tickets every day. Chapter 1886. The sword scar was tens of thousands of feet long. Longao's sword shocked everyone, because no one had complete confidence that they would definitely be able to receive Longao's sword. It was a sword that could shock the world and make ghosts and gods cry. A black shadow flashed. The next second, Longao's figure appeared in front of everyone. Seeing Longao suddenly appear, everyone retreated, including Wan Shou ancestor and the others. They all looked at Longao warily. Don't you want to kill me? I'm already standing here. Whoever wants to kill me, just come. Looking at everyone in front of him mockingly, Longao despised them to the extreme. The thunder was big but the rain was small. Did anyone dare to attack? Everyone had a look of fear on their faces. The sword strike just now had shocked everyone. Not to mention ordinary cultivators, even starry sky cultivators did not dare to act rashly. Xing Kun, Wan Shou ancestor, your cultivation has both broken through to the 2nd level of starry sky cultivators. Why don't we fight? If you can win, I'll give you whatever it is. What do you think? They cursed in their hearts. Why did he choose the 2 of them? Wan Shou ancestor and Xing Kun cursed fiercely in their hearts. Longao challenged them. If they refused, where would their dignity go? Accept the challenge? They would have dignity, but they did not know whether they would live or die. If they did not accept the challenge, how could they get off the stage? Brother Xing Kun, please. Wan Shou ancestor took the initiative to attack first, which made Xing Kun's face gloomier. He gritted his teeth. Since things had come to this point, he had to fight. At this level, dignity was more important than anything. I accept the challenge. As Xing Kun accepted the challenge, everyone behind him stepped back again, hundreds of meters. In a battle between starry sky cultivators, the aura alone was enough to wipe out ordinary martial artists. You? He didn't waste any words at all. The reason he came out this time was to intimidate everyone. Although he didn't fear anyone, the calamity was about to descend. Choosing to start a war with everyone at this time wasn't a wise move. That was exactly the case. Longao made a light stroke at Xing Kun. Before anyone could react, a shocking scene appeared. Less than a meter away from Xing Kun, a space crack suddenly appeared. The crack in the starry sky seemed to be able to swallow everything. Starry skies cracks were known as the nemesis of starry skies cultivators. Before the battle even started, he had almost been swallowed up by a starry skies crack. Xing Kun was terrified to the extreme. Fortunately, he dodged in time. Otherwise, he would have died a horrible death, and even his origin spirit would have been destroyed. You? Scram. Longao didn't want to talk nonsense. The Samsara sword appeared in his hand. Longao used all the strength in his body to launch the fourth move, Samsara Boundless Rainbow, and the fifth move, Samsara Meteorite Explosion. The terrifying sword Chi, which was tens of thousands of feet long, shot towards the crowd at an incredible speed. Let's work together. Everyone knew that it was impossible to block Longao's sword Chi attack in a one-on-one battle. Xing Kuan and the others, that is, all the Starry Sky cultivators had joined forces. Even so, the 10,000 Zhang sword Chi directly exploded, causing countless casualties. Retreat? If this continued, even more people would die. Before Xing Kuan could say anything, the others had already turned and fled. No one was unafraid of death. In a short while, everyone had disappeared without a trace. Master, will they come again? Seeing everyone running away faster than rabbits, Yunluoshan and the other three were shocked. It was the first time they had seen their master use the shattering starry skies. It was too terrifying. Humph, let's go back. Longao didn't care whether these people would come back or not. In his opinion, if these people dared to come again next time, he wouldn't be polite and would kill them all. Long Tian, Tong Zun, Wan Shou Ancestor, and Xing Kuan were the four giants. Longao is no longer the same as before. Even if the four of us join forces, we may not be a match for him, let alone one person. I believe you have seen how Longao used the shattering starry skies just now. How could the other three not know what Long Tian was talking about? What could they do even if they knew? Everyone felt helpless. Before entering the Starry Sky secret realm, Longao's strength was the weakest. Any one of them could easily kill Longao in a matter of minutes. However, after coming out of the Starry Sky's secret realm, Longao's strength had not only soared, but he had also obtained the heaven-defying martial skill, the Shattering Starry Skies. With Longao's strength and the heaven-defying martial skill, Longao's strength could be called the number one in the world, except for the divine mathematician and Tian Dao. Brother Long, if you have any good ideas, just tell us. What other good ideas can we have? We can only continue to devour the Starry Sky's divine sparks and hope to break through to Grade 3 Starry Sky's cultivator as soon as possible. We must be faster than Longao. Otherwise, even if we break through, it will be useless. Long Tian's meaning was very clear. Without any other way, the other three could only choose to leave. Longao's deterrence had worked, and no one dared to go back. It was obviously not a wise move to provoke Longao at this time. Looking at the departing figures, a man and a dragon suddenly appeared. Su Renfeng cursed and said, I really didn't expect Longao's strength to deter everyone. Originally, he wanted to use the power of the world to deal with Longao and then reap the benefit. However, he didn't expect this result. He looked helpless. Brother Evil Eye, we failed to kill with a borrowed knife. What should we do? Longao's super strength not only deterred the others, but also the Evil Eye Demon Dragon and Su Renfeng. Even if their cultivation had broken through to Grade 3 Starry Skies cultivator, they still didn't dare to fight Longao head-on. It would be a joke if they said it out loud. No one would believe it. What else can we do? Wait and see. Longao has the ability to shatter the starry skies. Many people have seen it. Although everyone chose to leave, I'm sure some of them will come back. Let's wait. The Evil Eye Demon Dragon's meaning was very simple. It wanted to continue killing with a borrowed knife. In the end, the Evil Eye Demon Dragon was afraid. It wasn't that it was afraid of Longao, but that Longao had the ability to shatter the starry skies. It was better to be safe than sorry. If it was devoured by a spatial crack, the consequences would be unimaginable. The matter of the slaughter abyss had already spread throughout the Martial Heaven continent. Longao was becoming more and more famous. Not only that, But Longao was also known as the continent's #1 expert. His fame surpassed everyone else. Longao's 10,000 zhang long sword mark intimidated everyone. That one sword strike scared everyone away. After the incident, many people came because of its reputation. They really wanted to see the 10,000 zhang long sword mark that Longao had slashed out. The temptation of such a shocking sword strike was really too great. Chapter 1887. Exclamation. Those who came to see the sword scar were all amazed. Was this the strength of a starry sky cultivator? Too domineering. For a time, Longao became the idol of many people in the sky martial continent. After all, to be able to scare off the 10 sects with a single sword strike was definitely unprecedented. This time, Longao did not let this matter go. Longao's method was not only arrogant, but also domineering. Then, Longao went to all the sects that had a grudge with him. He did not kill anyone, but in front of each sect, he slashed out a sword chi. What was the meaning of this? Anyone would know that Longao was obviously provoking him. His meaning was very clear. If you respect me, I will respect you 10 times. If you want to be cheap, then I will not be polite. Wan Shou Sect, Long Family, Martial Artists Alliance, and Azura Palace. These 4 sects were the 10 sect. Being humiliated by Longao was simply unheard of. Azura Palace. Old ancestor, Longao did not put us in his eyes at all. If this continues, Longao will ride on our heads sooner or later. So we must get rid of him as soon as possible. Xing Fa was very angry. As the palace master of Azura Palace, being humiliated by Longao was really embarrassing. Xing Kuan was helpless. Did he not want to deal with Longao? The current Longao was no longer the same as before. Even if everyone joined forces, they would not be a match for Longao. Longao had only humiliated them and didn't touch a single person from the Azura Palace. It was already very kind of him. According to Xing Kuan's previous guess, with Longao's current strength, he would definitely seek revenge. In the end, he did not. At this time, it is not suitable to fight Longao head-on. I have swallowed a rank 5 starry sky godhead. Once I break through to rank 3, I will not be afraid of Longao. Xing Kuan was very clear that Longao did not want to fall out with him because he did not want to implicate Dragon Sect. If they let a starry sky cultivator escape, then the consequences would be unimaginable. Although he was extremely unwilling in his heart, what else could he say since the old ancestor had already said so? Among the 4 super sects, Long family relationships were the most worrisome. According to the grudges between the Longao and the Long family, how could the Longao not deal with the Long family when he had become so powerful? Long Tian had a worried look on his face. He still couldn't figure out why Long Batian would help him and stop Longao from attacking him. What was the reason? One Longao was enough of a headache. Now, Long Batian, who was also a Starry Sky Domain Lord, had appeared as well. If either of them wanted to destroy a Long family, it would be a matter of minutes. What should I do? Long Tian? You still came. Looking at Longao who had suddenly appeared in front of them, whether it was Long Tian or Long Di Tian, the two of them had extremely gloomy expressions on their faces. Although Long Batian had stopped Longao and did not deal with the Long family, in the end, the two of them were in cahoot. Shouldn't we forget about the grudges between us? What do you want? Could it be that he wanted the two of them to kill themselves again? And the Dragon Sect to destroy the Long family? It was almost impossible. The two of them had already decided that even if they died in battle, they would never do such a thing. Don't worry. If Big Brother doesn't want me to touch you, I definitely won't. However, I want to collect some interest from the grudges between us. The two of them did not speak because they did not know what Longao wanted to do. It's very simple. I just want. Before the two of them could react, Longao used spatial teleportation and disappeared on the spot. In the next second, he was already in front of Long Batian. Slap, slap, slap. Under normal circumstances, it was almost impossible for Longao to slap Long Batian. But now. Firstly, Long Batian did not expect Longao to suddenly slap him. Secondly, Longao's speed was too fast. As his cultivation broke through to level 2 Starry Sky Cultivator, the power of his spatial teleportation increased by 100 times. Just like that, Long Batian was slapped 7 or 8 times by Longao. You. Long Batian, this is your interest. In a year, I will personally come to the Long family. At that time, no one will be able to save you. Because of the Black Demon Domain Lord, Longao could not deal with the Long family. However, he really could not take this lying down. After thinking about it, he decided to enter the Long family alone and directly do this. After stopping Long Batian said angrily, I will wait for you here in a year. I hope you will not disappoint me. Goodbye. Just like that, the two of them watched Longao turn around and leave. However, they did not dare to move because the two of them did not have the slightest confidence that they could defeat Longao. Not to mention how strong Longao was, just Longao's shattering starry sky was enough to scare them. Old ancestor, Tion, the humiliation you received today, I will take it back twice for you in the future. Long Batian suppressed the anger in his heart. His rationality told him that he could not be impulsive. Otherwise, not only would he harm himself, but he would also harm the entire family and the old ancestor. He said, Old ancestor, with Longao's talent, we may not be able to defeat him in a year. At that time, I am afraid of us. Long Batian did not finish his words, but the meaning of his words was very clear. In the Tianwu continent, Longao's talent could definitely be called number 1. Even if they had devoured a higher-level starry sky divine deity, what was the use? Longao did not devour any starry sky divine deity and relied on his own cultivation to break through to level 2 starry sky cultivator. If they did not see it with their own eyes, who would have thought that Longao's talent was so terrifying? From this, it could be seen. After a year, Longao's strength would definitely be above them, and they would not have the slightest chance. If that was the case, Longao would definitely not continue to help the Long family. At that time, with Longao's strength and the enmity between them, he would definitely destroy the Long family. There was no doubt about it. Long Batian was very clear about Tion's worries. He thought for a moment and said, We have already devoured a level 3 starry sky divine deity. If there are no accidents, you and I will be able to break through to level 3 starry sky cultivator in a year's time. Just as you said, even so, we are still not a match for Longao. Old ancestor, what should we do? Leave the Tianwu continent. According to the divine mathematician, after a year, the calamity will be over. At that time, we will be able to enter and exit the Tianwu continent as we wish. At that time, we will leave first and wait until we are strong enough before coming back to take revenge. P.S. All 10 chapters have been delivered. It is already past 3 o'clock. Xiao Jiu, hurry up and go to sleep. My wife has been scolding me the whole night. Good night, everyone. Chapter 1888. To be reduced to such a state, it was a tragedy. Long Tion was very clear in his heart that in this situation, there was no other way except for this method. In the vast starry sky, there was only one way out. Longao did not mention the matter of Long Tion slapping Long Tion, and Long Tion and the rest were not willing to talk about it either. In this round, Longao won. The newly risen Heaven and Earth sect seemed to have chosen to go into hiding after everyone left the secret realm. But the result? All of a sudden, under Yi Dugu's lead, the Heaven and Earth sect launched an attack on the Purple Thunder sect. As for the reason, no one knew. Yi Dugu was a level 6 starry sky cultivator. Other than Tian Dao and divine mathematician, Yi Dugu was the strongest existence in the sky martial continent. As for the heaven and earth sect, they had at least 10 starry sky cultivators. What kind of concept was this? Not to mention the purple thunder sect, even if the 10 direction cauldrons worked together, they might not be able to contend against the heaven and earth sect. This was the strength of the heaven and earth sect. How would the purple thunder ancestor dare to accept the challenge? He chose to stay in seclusion. But if this continued, would it be okay? Yi Dugu obviously wanted to destroy the purple thunder sect. In the purple thunder sect, only the purple thunder ancestor and Yi Tianhua had broken through to the starry sky realm. The master Yi Tianhua was only a level 1 starry sky cultivator. Longao, who was preparing to return to the massacre abyss, received the news and rushed to the purple thunder sect. With their relationship, he could not watch the heaven and earth sect destroy the purple thunder sect. Brother Long, I knew you would come. Before Longao could enter the purple thunder sect, he was stopped by Yi Dugu. Behind Yi Dugu were 10 people. If there was no accident, they should be starry sky cultivators. Brother Yi, why did you attack the purple thunder sect? Longao was curious. Because Yi Dugu and ancestor Xiling did not have any grudges, why would he attack for no reason? Did he have nothing better to do? Did Yi Dugu want to dominate the world? That's not right. With Yi Dugu and the heaven and earth sect's strength, as long as Yi Dugu was willing, he could dominate the sky martial continent. This daddy is divine mathematician. If he wanted to dominate the world, why wait? He could not figure it out. He simply couldn't figure it out. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Yi Dugu made an inviting gesture. He smiled. Longao followed Yi Dugu to the peak of a mountain. The surrounding environment was very beautiful and exceptionally quiet. Brother Long, what did you gain from the star's secret realm? Longao didn't hide anything about the starry sky mystic realm, because even if he wanted to hide it, he probably couldn't. Others might not be able to enter the star's secret realm as they wished, but as the son of the oracle, Yi Dugu believed that he could enter the star's secret realm as he wished. I see. Yi Dugu sighed deeply. Just as Longao was wondering what was going on, Yi Dugu suddenly said, Brother Long, do you think that, as the son of the clairvoyant, I can casually step into the secret realm of stars? Was that not the case? However, when he saw Yi Dugu's expression and the sigh just now, Longao seemed to have guessed something. You're right. Even I can't casually enter the starry sky secret realm. What a weirdo. However, it was understandable that no one knew what the oracle was thinking. Even so, what did it have to do with him? Could it be that Yi Dugu wanted to rely on himself to enter the star's secret realm? Brother Long, I heard that you scared everyone in the world with one sword move. Is that true? It's just a bluff. Longao didn't have the slightest praise. It was true. Although the 36 forms of reincarnation were extremely powerful, it was a bit unrealistic to rely on one sword move to scare everyone in the world. However, Longao's deterrence was there, and no one dared to come close. That was why the deterrence was successful. Yi Dugu had already guessed this point. After all, Longao was only a level 2 starry sky cultivator, not a level 9 starry sky cultivator or a starry sky domain lord. What about shattering the starry sky? Before Longao could speak, Yi Dugu continued, As far as I know, even the starry sky domain lord can't shatter the starry sky. Brother Long, your move will definitely shock everyone. If this news spreads in the vast starry sky, I'm afraid countless people will come to snatch it. Even the starry sky domain lord can't do it? It was hard to imagine. Longao knew that Yi Dugu wasn't exaggerating. If that was the case, then the starry sky that he possessed was indeed unprecedented. This was only the 5th transformation of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. It was hard to imagine how powerful the fourth transformation of the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique would be. Big Brother Yi, to tell you the truth, I don't know why I have the shatter starry sky. I died in the starry sky secret realm. I don't know why, but a mysterious power entered my body. When I woke up, I had this powerful body for no reason at all. He wasn't surprised, nor did he choose to not believe it. In Yi Dugu's opinion, Longao wouldn't dare to lie to him. After thinking for a while, he seemed to have something he couldn't say. However, he still said, "Brother Long, I have a presumptuous request. I hope you can teach me this magic." The starry sky was something that even the starry sky domain lord couldn't achieve. Such a heaven-defying magic, everyone wanted to obtain it, including Yi Dugu. However, as the son of the divine mathematician and the sect master of heaven and earth sect, Yi Dugu found it hard to ask. However, in order to obtain the starry sky, he had to ask even if he didn't want to. His face was full of helplessness. Shrugging helplessly, Longao said helplessly, "Brother Yi, to be honest, I haven't figured out this magic yet. I can barely use it. Not to mention teaching it to you, I don't even know how to do it." This was the truth. Because the starry sky was a powerful magic derived from the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique, Longao couldn't teach it to anyone, unless he taught Yi Dugu the 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. Was it possible? This was Longao's biggest secret. Except for a few people, no one else knew about it, including his grandfather and parents. One could imagine how much Longao valued this 9 revolutions reincarnation technique. As if he had already guessed it, Yi Dugu sighed deeply and said with a smile, "I was too stubborn. Everyone's fate is different. If I forced it, even if I could obtain the starry sky, it might not be a good thing. Brother Long, I let you see a joke." Longao just smiled and didn't answer because he didn't know how to answer. However, Yi Dugu was a straightforward person. If it was someone else, they would definitely not let him go. As expected of the son of the divine mathematician. At this time, Longao's understanding of Yi Dugu rose to a new height. Chapter 1889. Big Brother Yi, why did you suddenly attack the Violet Thunder sect? This was what Longao wanted to know the most. This was also the reason why he had rushed to the Violet Thunder sect. Brother Long, to tell you the truth, the reason I attacked the Violet Thunder sect is because of the Violet Thunder Peak. Violet Thunder Peak? Longao was curious. What was going on with the Violet Thunder Peak? Was there something fishy about the Violet Thunder Peak? The Violet Thunder Peak is formed from the energy of a universal domain emperor. Other than me, my father, Long Batian and Tiandao, no one else knows about this. Ah! Hearing Yi Dugu's words, Longao was shocked. He was extremely clear on what a universal domain emperor meant. He was the strongest cultivator in the vast universe. According to Yi Dugu, if the Violet Thunder Peak was formed from the energy of a universal domain emperor, it meant that the divine mathematician wasn't the only universal domain emperor in the Tianwu continent. Big Brother Yi, are you saying that you want to take over the Violet Thunder Peak? I'm not trying to take it over. This Violet Thunder Peak originally belonged to me. If it weren't for my injuries, the current Violet Thunder Peak would have been the headquarters of the Heaven and Earth sect. So that was the case. Longao felt somewhat unhappy in his heart. No matter what, the current Violet Thunder sect was the master of the Violet Thunder Peak. If Yi Dugu wanted to take over, he would destroy the Violet Thunder sect. This was simply the act of a bandit. However, Yi Dugu's strength was there for all to see. His backer was even more powerful. In this world where the strong were revered, strength was everything. There was no right or wrong. As the saying goes, the winner is the king, the loser is the bandit. Sometimes, no one would pay attention to the process, only the result. Brother Long, you are not an outsider. I have no need to hide this from you. Big brother Yi, please speak. Longao knew that things weren't so simple. If the Violet Thunder Peak was already useless, Yi Dugu wouldn't have spent so much effort to destroy the Violet Thunder Sect and take over the Violet Thunder Peak. Back then, when the planar passageway opened, countless cultivators entered. Among them were the Universal Domain Emperors. Longao had already guessed it. One of the Starry Sky Region Emperors was known as the Purple Thunder Region Emperor. He was born with the power of thunder and lightning, and was very strong. My father fought with him for 3 days and 3 nights before finally killing him. He was very shocked. This was enough to show just how powerful the clairvoyant was. However, this Purple Thunder Domain Emperor is indeed powerful. At the final moment, he used his own primordial spirit to form the Purple Thunder Peak. Here was the main point. Longao was also looking forward to it. He wanted to know what secrets the Violet Thunder Peak held. This person absolutely cannot be reborn. Furthermore, I want to devour this person's primordial spirit and power to become the new Violet Thunder Region Emperor. So that was the case. Longao finally knew the reason. Thinking about it from another perspective, Yi Dugu's actions were understandable because no matter who it was, they would have done the same. His previous anger had already vanished into thin air. Big brother Yi, even so, there's no need to destroy the Violet Thunder Sect. What do you think? How could Yi Dugu not know about the relationship between Longao and the Violet Thunder Ancestor? Yi Dugu had a helpless expression on his face as he continued, I've already spoken to the Violet Thunder Ancestor, asking him to hand over the Violet Thunder Peak. However, I was rejected by him. How could he not reject? If it were him, he would definitely reject. The Violet Thunder Ancestor didn't know the real reason. Yi Dugu wanted him to hand over the Violet Thunder Peak for no reason. It was a complete humiliation to the Violet Thunder Sect. If his big brother Violet Thunder knew of Yi Dugu's true identity, he would definitely hand over the Violet Thunder Peak. Yi Dugu sighed deeply in his heart. Things had already reached this point. No matter what, he had to protect the Violet Thunder Sect and his big brother Violet Thunder. Big brother Yi, I'll get straight to the point. I believe you already know about my relationship with big brother Violet Thunder. I have a presumptuous request. I hope big brother Yi can agree to it. Smiling, Yi Dugu nodded. I'll give you face. As long as the Violet Thunder Ancestor leads the Violet Thunder Sect out of the Violet Thunder Peak, this matter will be written off and I won't pursue it any further. How about it? Many thanks big brother Yi. Yi Dugu was so straightforward. Longao had never imagined that Yi Dugu would be so straightforward. What more could he ask for? Yi Dugu was obviously determined to get the Violet Thunder Peak. If he insisted on refusing, then not only big brother Violet Thunder, even he himself would be attacked by Yi Dugu. Just as Longao was about to turn and leave, Yi Dugu's voice drifted over. I'll give you 3 days. If after 3 days, the Violet Thunder Ancestor and the Violet Thunder Sect are still in the Violet Thunder Peak, I will launch an attack and annihilate the Violet Thunder Sect. Could it be that Yi Dugu didn't make a move because of him? Longao didn't reply. With a single step, his entire person disappeared from the mountain valley. Sect leader, why don't we directly annihilate the Violet Thunder Sect? The 10 of them were extremely curious. Although Longao's reputation was great, he was still just a second-level cultivator. As long as they wanted to, they could destroy Longao at any time. Since that was the case, why did their sect leader have to give in to this person? The 10 of them weren't Yi Dugu's subordinates, but rather, 10 cultivators created by the God Diviner. They were determined to get the Violet Thunder Peak. Longao isn't a simple person. Father told me to be on good terms with him, and not to fall out with him. Although I don't know what he means, I won't doubt him given his capabilities. So it was their master's intention. Hearing Yi Dugu's words, the 10 of them who were about to say something abruptly shut their mouths. Obviously, they were afraid of the god diviner. The 10 of them were very clear that since the god diviner could create them, he could also destroy them. 3 days. Yidugu naturally hoped that Longao would be able to convince the Violet Thunder sect to withdraw from the Violet Thunder Peak. Unless there was no other choice, he wasn't willing to fall out with Longao. However, if the Violet Thunder sect was unwilling to withdraw from the Violet Thunder Peak, and if Longao still insisted on protecting the Violet Thunder ancestor, he would have no choice but to act. For the sake of the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor's inheritance, no one would be able to stop him. The news of the Heaven and Earth sect attacking the Violet Thunder sect had already spread throughout the Tianwu continent. If it was before this, it was unknown who would win. But now, with the recent rise of the Heaven and Earth sect, as well as Yidugu's strength, no one was optimistic about the Violet Thunder sect's chances. If there were no accidents, the Violet Thunder sect would definitely be defeated. It seemed that from today onwards, the Violet Thunder sect would no longer exist in the Tianwu continent. Longao's speed was exceedingly fast. In just 2 teleportations, he had already entered the Violet Thunder sect. Right now, the Violet Thunder sect could be said to be like birds startled by the twang of a bow. After all, the disparity in strength between the Heaven and Earth sect was simply too great. Chapter 1890. Like a bird startled by the twang of a bow. Everyone was afraid that the Heaven and Earth Gate would attack. If that happened, the Violet Thunder sect would be in big trouble. As the master of the Violet Thunder sect, Yi Tianhua's face was filled with worry. Master Long seeing Longao enter, Yi Tianhua was pleasantly surprised. The grudges from before had long been written off because Yi Tianhua knew that Longao was his benefactor, not a source of worry. If it weren't for Longao, he wouldn't have been able to leave the secret realm alive and obtain the Starry Sky Godhead. Where's Big Brother Violet Thunder? Longao was curious because he couldn't sense Big Brother Violet Thunder's aura. Master Long, come with me. Looking at the worried Yi Tianhua, Longao found it funny. Master Yi, it's fine. If it were anyone else, Yi Tianhua would definitely snort disdainfully. Except for Longao. The current Longao had an extremely high status in the Tianwu continent. Other than the godly mathematician and Tian Dao, he could be called the number 1 person. Yi Tianhua wasn't a fool, he knew why Longao was here. With Longao overseeing everything, there was nothing to worry about. Many thanks. He didn't say anything else, it would sound fake. At the same time, the 2 of them left the main hall and arrived in front of a rock garden. Pointing at a stone door, Yi Tianhua said, Master Long, the old ancestor is inside. You can go in yourself. Ever since the old ancestor had entered the stone door a few days ago, he hadn't come out. The Purple Thunder ancestor had made it clear that no matter who it was, even Yi Tianhua, no one was allowed to enter without permission. However, before the Purple Thunder ancestor had entered the stone door, he had repeatedly told Yi Tianhua that no one was allowed to enter except for Longao. As long as Longao came, Yi Tianhua was to bring him here. The Purple Thunder ancestor seemed to have predicted that Longao would definitely come looking for him. Longao didn't hesitate, pushing open the stone door and entering. Yi Tianhua did not leave, but personally stood guard outside the stone door. Inside the stone door. It was a long and dark tunnel, but with Longao's eyesight, this was not a problem at all. Longao discovered that as the passageway grew longer and longer, he was heading towards the bottom of the Violet Thunder Peak. Why did Big Brother Purple Thunder come here? After walking for an unknown amount of time, about 2 hours, the Longao finally reached the end. It was a huge cave. Big Brother Violet Thunder. As soon as he stepped into the cave, Longao saw the Purple Thunder ancestor in the middle of the cave. He felt happy in his heart, but before he could walk over, he found that there seemed to be something wrong with the Purple Thunder ancestor. Opening his eyes, Purple Thunder Ancestor's face was filled with exhaustion. Brother Long, you're here. Big Brother Purple Thunder, what's wrong? Seeing Purple Thunder Ancestor in such a state, Longao was shocked. He didn't know what had happened. Brother Long, what's going on outside? Of course, Purple Thunder Ancestor was well aware of what was happening outside. Longao became more and more curious. Under normal circumstances, when the Heaven and Earth sect attacked the Purple Thunder sect, Big Brother Purple Thunder should be outside thinking of countermeasures. But now Big Brother Purple Thunder was hiding here, not knowing what he was doing. Without hiding anything, Longao roughly explained Yidugu's intention. I can't hand over the Violet Thunder Peak now, but 3 days is enough. What did this mean? Longao was completely confused, but he didn't want to hide anything from Purple Thunder Ancestor. He also told him about the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor. There was no surprise, as if he already knew about it. Brother Long, you are not an outsider, so I won't hide it from you. Just 10 days ago, I received Master's inheritance. In 3 more days, I can complete the inheritance. At that time, even if you want to hand over the Violet Thunder Peak, it won't matter. Ah, what did this mean? Big Brother Purple Thunder already received the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor's inheritance? It turned out 10 days ago, Purple Thunder Ancestor had been cultivating, hoping to break through from the Grade 2 Starry Sky Cultivator to the Grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator in the shortest time possible. At that time, Purple Thunder Ancestor heard someone calling for him. Following the call, he went to the cave and met his master, the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor. In the beginning, Purple Thunder Ancestor was shocked, but soon, he was pleasantly surprised. To be able to receive the inheritance of a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, everything was worth it. Even if he had to hand over the Violet Thunder sect temporarily, it wouldn't matter. In Purple Thunder's view, nothing was more important than the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor's inheritance. After listening to Purple Thunder Ancestor, Longao sighed. Big Brother Purple Thunder's luck was really good. If he was a few days late, Yidugu would have attacked. At that time, whether or not he could receive the inheritance would be unknown. Big Brother Purple Thunder, I'm very curious. Since the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor is willing to pass the inheritance to you, why not condense the Starry Sky Godhead directly? This way, not only can you break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm, you can also choose to devour it and leave. The Starry Sky Godhead was much better than the Starry Sky Inheritance. Since they were both inheritances, why didn't he choose the Starry Sky Godhead directly? Master said that if I devour the Starry Sky Godhead, although I can break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm, I won't be able to control the Starry Sky Lightning. But if I accept the Starry Sky Inheritance, my interest will be different. Even if I devour the Starry Sky Inheritance, not only will I be able to break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm, but I will also be able to control the Starry Sky Lightning. So that's how it was. If that was the case, he would definitely choose to inherit the Starry Sky Inheritance instead of devouring the Starry Sky Godhead. Longao sincerely said, Big Brother Purple Thunder, congratulations. Purple Thunder smiled. Because if he received the Starry Sky Inheritance from his master, it meant that as long as he didn't die, he would definitely break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm. At that time, he would be able to control the Starry Sky Lightning. Until this moment, Purple Thunder Ancestor could not believe that he was so lucky to have obtained the inheritance of a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Sometimes when luck came, it could not be stopped. Brother Long, I want to continue the inheritance. Wait for me at the side, I will leave with you 3 days later. All right? Longao was very clear that this matter could not be known by Yidugu. Otherwise, not only Big Brother Purple Thunder, but even he himself would be in trouble. The Starry Sky Inheritance that he was determined to obtain was snatched by Big Brother Purple Thunder. It was easy to imagine how angry Yidugu would be if he knew about this. Longao was still worried. Even if he and Purple Thunder Ancestor left this place, if Yidugu couldn't find the Starry Sky Domain Emperor's inheritance, would he think that Purple Thunder Ancestor had already obtained the inheritance? Chapter 1891. The Purple Thunder Grandmaster was trying his best to inherit the legacy of the Purple Thunder Region King. Longao sat by the side, guarding the place for the Purple Thunder Grandmaster. Even though this place was secluded and was a forbidden ground of the Purple Thunder sect, no one knew if anyone would come here. What if someone came? The Purple Thunder Region King's strength was needless to say. To be able to fight with the godly diviner for 3 days and 3 nights, one could imagine what sort of existence he was. If Big Brother Purple Thunder could become the Star Region King, he would definitely be a top existence in the entire universe, let alone the Sky Martial Continent. He was truly happy for Big Brother Purple Thunder. After inheriting the legacy of the Region King, the Purple Thunder Grandmaster's face was filled with pain. It was either success or death. Purple Thunder Ancestor was well aware of what this inheritance meant to him. Once he succeeded, he would become the strongest expert in the vast starry sky. If he failed, not to mention becoming a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, whether he could even survive would be a big problem. Dragon Race, Draconic Secret Ground. They had already reached an agreement with the Heaven's will to deal with the godly diviner a year later. And the result? Perhaps it was because of his good luck, but the Black Demon had been sealed here for 10,000 years. Without his true body, his cultivation speed was extremely slow. After all, it was almost impossible to break through with just his essence spirit. But that was how things were. The Black Demon's extreme talent and 10,000 years of cultivation had finally exploded. A Star Region King possessed the power of a Star Region. As for a Star Region King, he possessed the power of a Star Region. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! The sudden breakthrough of his essence spirit caused the Black Demon to feel as though he had been reborn. He could not help but laugh out loud. His laughter was filled with arrogance. Even though the difference between a Star Region King and a Star Region King was only a single state, the difference in strength between the two was huge. One was like the heavens and the other was like the earth. There was a loud boom. With the breakthrough of the Black Demon's essence spirit, the seal of the Draconic Secret Ground could no longer trap him. With the seal broken, the Black Demon was released. But he was clear that even if he were to break through to the Star Region King, he could forget about breaking through the seal and leaving the Sky Martial Continent to return to the universe. The only way was to find a body that could take him in as soon as possible. Only then would he be able to recover to his peak strength. The Black Demon searched for 3 days and nights before he finally found it. He couldn't wait. After being sealed for tens of thousands of years, there was no way Black Demon would let Master God Diviner off the hook. Back then, due to the difference in cultivation level, he lost to the Clairvoyant in the end and was sealed in the Draconic Arcane Realm. But now, the situation was completely different. Outer Sea. Crystal Palace. Master God Diviner, Yang Qi said, "You sealed me here for 10,000 years. Master God Diviner's face was cold and indifferent, as if he didn't even care about the other party. You? Black Demon was a little angry at being ignored by Master God Diviner, but he suppressed it in the end. Master God Diviner was able to control the Starry Sky Mystic Realm, and he had killed many people back then. His strength was also terrifying. Black Demon, let me give you a piece of advice. Return to the Draconic Arcane Realm obediently. I'll naturally let you go after I've settled my matters a year later. Otherwise, I'll make you vanish into thin air even if your cultivation base has broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor." It was an understatement. The more Master Godly Mathematician acted like this, the angrier Black Demon became. What a joke! His cultivation had finally broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm, and now he was being sealed in the Draconic Arcane realm? Even if Master God Diviner was powerful, he was still going too far. Master God Diviner, you've gone too far. As soon as he finished speaking, Black Demon suddenly released a terrifying Starry Sky Domain taboo power. It crazily suppressed him, wave after wave like the endless waves of the sea. As for Master God Diviner ignored the Starry Sky Domain taboo power released by his opponent. He was as steady as a mountain. Black Demon looked at Master God Diviner, who was motionless and unaffected by his Starry Sky Domain taboo power. For some reason, he had a bad feeling. Things had already come to this point. If he didn't continue to fight, he could imagine what would happen to him. He continuously released the Starry Sky Domain taboo power, but he still couldn't make Master God Diviner move an inch. How strong was Master God Diviner? The more he fought, the more shocked he became. Master God Diviner shook his head contemptuously. He didn't even move. He just gently lifted his right foot and then stomped down. A shocking scene appeared. The incomparably powerful Starry Sky Domain taboo power was directly shattered. Black Demon spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body flew backward and fell heavily to the ground. Shock. Disbelief. Black Demon's face was full of disbelief. He didn't care about his severely injured primordial spirit because he was very clear about one thing. That was, to be able to break the Starry Sky Domain taboo power so easily, there was only one explanation. The opponent's strength was far above his. Could it be that his opponent had broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor? Thinking of this, Black Demon slowly stood up with a helpless expression. He sighed and said, "Actually, I should have thought of this. In the past, countless Starry Sky cultivators rushed to the Tianwu realm, and there were many Starry Sky Domain Emperors. But they were all killed by you alone. If you hadn't become a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, how could you have done this?" Starry Sky Domain Emperor was above Starry Sky Domain Emperors. It was the real supreme existence in the vast starry sky. In the vast starry sky there was a saying, "Under the starry sky all were ants." There was another saying, "Domain Emperors were the earth, emperors were the sky." When one became a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, he could easily break the Starry Sky Domain taboo power and control life and death. The divine mathematician was a supreme existence above Starry Sky Domain Emperors. He was the so-called Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Black Demon, I just said that even if you've broken through to Starry Sky Domain Emperor, you're still not my opponent. Starry Sky Domain Emperors control life and death. Unless you can improve your cultivation and become a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, you'll never be my opponent. So that's how it is. Black Demon seemed a little desperate. After 10,000 years, his cultivation had finally broken through to Starry Sky Domain Emperor from Starry Sky Domain Emperor. But to break through to Starry Sky Domain Emperor from Starry Sky Domain Emperor was several times more difficult. In the vast starry sky, there were countless Starry Sky Domain Emperors. However, only 1 in 10,000 could become a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. A small mid-grade realm actually had a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. You've deceived everyone, pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Aren't you afraid that you'll attract other Starry Sky Domain Emperors? The vast starry sky was too big. Even Starry Sky Domain Emperors had a lot of them. However, under normal circumstances, such supreme existences wouldn't provoke experts of the same level. It was a kind of tacit understanding in the vast starry sky. P.S. My joints are hurting so badly that I barely managed to write 4 chapters. I'll write another chapter later. Today I'll update 5 chapters. However, tomorrow I'll update 10 chapters. Tonight, Little 9 will insist on updating 2 or 3 chapters. I'll ask for monthly votes and recommendation vote. Chapter 1892. Do you think I'll be afraid of the Starry Sky Domain Emperor? Hearing this, the black demon's expression changed again. Was the clairvoyant master really that confident? Black demon, I won't kill you. Let's go. Master God Diviner took a step forward, and before Black Devil could even react, he was taken away from the Outer Sea Crystal Palace. It seemed that he had only taken one step. The Oracle had already brought Black Demon to the Draconic Mystic Realm. Black Demon, I'll let you go after a year. The Oracle didn't seem to want to talk nonsense. A terrifying aura erupted from his body, and he sealed Black Demon again. Black Demon was extremely dispirited as he watched Master Godly Mathematician's departing figure. He thought that he could challenge the Oracle after breaking through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level. However, the Oracle's strength was far beyond his understanding. As long as the Oracle wanted to, he could kill him in minute. Starry Sky Domain Emperor. The Oracle is a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. He sat on the ground in despair. Black Demon knew very well that he would never be able to catch up with the Oracle. The fact that the Oracle could ignore an ordinary Starry Sky Domain Emperor meant that his cultivation must have reached the peak of the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level. A black robe flashed. Tiandao's figure appeared instantly and asked in surprise, Black Demon, your cultivation has broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level? How could he not be excited? Tiandao knew very well that if Black Demon had really broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level, he wouldn't have to wait for a year. The result? He nodded and then shook his head. What did he mean by nodding and shaking his head? Tiandao was a little confused and didn't know what Black Demon meant. Tiandao, my cultivation has indeed broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level. He was overjoyed. Before Tiandao could speak, Black Demon continued, Tiandao, you and I won't be a match for the Oracle even after a year. The previous agreement ends here. Tiandao couldn't adapt to the sudden change of mind. Tiandao was very confident that after a year, the two of them would have a much higher chance of killing the Oracle if they joined forces. Especially now that Black Demon's cultivation had successfully broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level, their chances of winning had increased again. In that case, why did Black Demon refuse him for no reason? Was there something fishy? Tiandao knew Black Demon's character very well. He was an ambitious guy who had broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm. How could he give up such a rare opportunity? Black Demon, what happened? The Black Demon would not do this for no reason. There must be something that he did not know. You really want to know? Nonsense. Suppressing the anger in his heart, Tiandao said coldly, Speak. I'm afraid that you'll break down if I tell you. Collapse? Looking at Black Demon, who was provoking him, Tiandao wished he could go up and kill him. He had seen a fool before, but he had never seen such a fool. Before Sky Dao could get angry, Black Demon suddenly said, Sky Dao, Master God Diviner is not a Starry Sky Region King. The marvelous mathematician wasn't the Starry Sky Region Emperor? What did that mean? The heavenly Dao was not a fool. He quickly understood the meaning of Black Demon's words. Could it be that the divine mathematician was? You guessed it? Impossible. This is simply impossible. The Way of the Sky did not believe Black Demon's words at all. If the marvelous mathematician was not the Starry Domain Emperor, then he was the Starry Domain Emperor, who was above the Starry Domain Emperor. He was a true super expert in the vast universe. Whether you believe it or not, Master God Diviner is a Starry Sky Region Emperor. You and I are no match for him at all. Black Demon obviously did not want to continue talking. He turned and entered the dark space. He did not try to break the seal, because he knew that Master God Diviner must have used the power of a Starry Sky Region Emperor to seal him. If he wanted to break the seal, he would have to reach a higher level and break through to the Starry Sky Region Emperor realm. Was that possible? Tiandao's expression changed again and again. He had thought that he could kill Master God Diviner and seize the Starry Sky's secret realm. He had never imagined that Master God Diviner was not a Starry Sky Region King, but a Starry Sky Region Emperor. Starry Sky Region King and Starry Sky Region Emperor were two different concepts. Was he going to be a pawn of Master God Diviner for the rest of his life? He was unwilling. However, Tian Dao was very clear that with his current strength, it was almost impossible to deal with Master God Diviner. But he would not choose to give up. One day, he would kill Master God Diviner with his own hands and seize the Starry Sky's secret realm. No one except Black Demon and Tian Dao knew that Master God Diviner was a Starry Sky Region Emperor. Purple Thunder Peak. Underground, in a huge cave. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed quickly. Purple Thunder Ancestor breathed a long sigh of relief. He opened his eyes, stood up, and said with a smile, "I finally succeeded. In 100 years at most, I can completely refine Master's Starry Sky inheritance. At that time, I will become the new Purple Thunder Region King." Filled with joy, Purple Thunder Ancestor looked at Longao, who had been guarding him, and said gratefully, "Brother Long, thank you. Brother Purple Thunder, you are welcome." Seeing Purple Thunder Ancestor successfully devouring the Starry Sky inheritance, Longao was pleasantly surprised. With their relationship, the stronger Purple Thunder Ancestor was, the more advantageous it would be for him. Starry Sky Region Emperor. In 100 years at most, Purple Thunder Ancestor would also become a Starry Sky Region Emperor. At that time, Purple Thunder Ancestor would have a place in the vast Starry Sky. Brother Long, according to Master's inheritance, there is something I must tell you. Please say. Seeing Purple Thunder Ancestor's face suddenly become extremely serious, Longao felt that something must have happened. Because Purple Thunder Ancestor had devoured the Starry Sky inheritance, according to normal circumstances, Purple Thunder Ancestor should be happy, but what was the result? Purple Thunder Ancestor's face was serious and dignified. Brother Long, according to Master's information, Starry Sky Region Emperor is not the strongest in the vast Starry Sky. According to Purple Thunder Ancestor's words, didn't it mean that there were stronger existences than Starry Sky Region Emperors? Longao did not speak, because he knew that Purple Thunder Ancestor had not finished speaking. When Master entered the Sky Martial Plane and fought with Divine Mathematician for 3 days and 3 nights, it turns out that Divine Mathematician was hiding his strength. Longao was not a fool. The words of Purple Thunder Ancestor had already reached this point. If he still did not understand, then he would really be a fool. There was no doubt that according to the information given by Purple Thunder Domain Emperor to Big Brother Purple Thunder, the Divine Mathematician was definitely a more powerful existence than the Starry Sky Domain Emperor. If that was the case, why would Divine Mathematician hide his strength? He could not figure it out, really could not figure it out. Brother Purple Thunder, what is Divine Mathematician's cultivation level? Starry Sky Region Emperor, Domain Emperor is the Earth, Domain Emperor is the Sky, Starry Sky Region Emperor controls life and death. P.S. All 5 chapters have been delivered. Tomorrow there will be another 10 chapters. Brothers who still have votes, please vote for Longao, Xiaojiu. Thanks. Chapter 1893. The Domain Emperor was the Earth, the Domain Emperor was the Sky, and the Starry Sky Domain Emperor controlled life and death. There was no doubt that the Divine Mathematician was not a Starry Sky Domain Emperor at all, but a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Brother Long, the person who fought with Master was not the real Divine Mathematician at all. It was just an avatar. Shocking. Just an avatar had the super strength of a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Longao could almost be sure that the Divine Mathematician had more than one Starry Sky Domain Emperor avatar. It was hard to imagine how powerful the Divine Mathematician was. Brother Purple Thunder, Is there a higher level above the Starry Sky Domain Emperor? This was what Longao was most concerned about. As his strength continued to improve, Longao found that he was still a frog at the bottom of the well. The outside world was wonderful. Similarly, the outside world was helpless. Where was the head? I don't know. You don't know? What did that mean? Brother Long, I know what you want to ask, but the information Master gave me did not mention anything above the Starry Sky Domain Emperor. So that was it. But I can be sure that the Starry Sky Domain Emperor is not the peak of the Starry Sky Martial Tao. As for your and my strength, we can't detect that level. That was true. Longao smiled and did not continue to dwell on this issue. Whether it was the Starry Sky Domain Emperor or the super-existence above the Starry Sky Domain Emperor, they were not existences he could touch. He was now only a second-level Starry Sky cultivator, and there was still a long way to go before he could become a Starry Sky Domain Emperor. Brother Purple Thunder, 3 days have passed. We must leave Purple Thunder Peak. Otherwise, once Yi Dugu takes action, we will be in big trouble. Purple Thunder Ancestor also knew the seriousness of the matter, and dared not hesitate. Although he had devoured Master's Starry Sky inheritance, with his current strength, he was no match for Yi Dugu. At this time, if he chose to fight head-on, the consequences would be unimaginable. Outside Purple Thunder Peak, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Purple Thunder Ancestor and Longao had not come out. Yi Dugu had guessed that Purple Thunder Ancestor would not be willing to leave Purple Thunder Peak. In that case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Yi Dugu coldly looked at the violet lightning peak in front of him. Just as Yi Dugu was ordered to attack, the violet lightning peak started to move. Countless figures flashed. Not long after, under the lead of the Violet Thunder Ancestor, over 100,000 disciples from the Violet Thunder sect rushed out. Seeing this, Yi Dugu smiled. Seems like the Violet Thunder Ancestor still chose to compromise. But after thinking about it, he felt relieved. With his strength, let alone the Violet Thunder sect, no other sect would dare to casually provoke him. The mighty crowd began to move into the distance. Big Brother Yi. Earlier when he saw Yi Dugu preparing to act, Longao couldn't help but feel shocked. Luckily, the two of them had come out earlier. If Yi Dugu acted, how would the Violet Thunder sect be able to contend against him? Brother Purple Thunder, I thought you were prepared to fight to the death. He cursed in his heart. Do you think you can do whatever you want just because you have a powerful ancestor? Just wait until I completely refine the Starry Sky inheritance and break through to the Starry Sky Domain Monarch realm. Now that the Violet Thunder Ancestor knew of Yi Dugu's identity, he finally understood why Yi Dugu's cultivation had soared so much. With a powerful father like the Divine Mathematician, not to mention a level 6 Starry Sky cultivator, even becoming a Starry Sky Domain Monarch wouldn't be a problem. Brother Yi must be joking. It's just a mountain. If I cause the Violet Thunder sect to fall into eternal damnation for the sake of the Violet Thunder Peak, wouldn't I be a sinner? This was the truth. Now that the Violet Thunder Ancestor had successfully obtained the Domain Monarch's inheritance, there was no point in defending the Violet Thunder Peak to the death. A wise man submits to circumstances. Brother Purple Thunder is worthy of being called a hero. From the beginning to the end, Yi Dugu didn't sense that the Violet Thunder Ancestor had already devoured the Starry Sky inheritance. Otherwise, would Yi Dugu let the Violet Thunder Ancestor go? This time, he came to the Violet Thunder sect to obtain the Domain Monarch's inheritance. But it was impossible for Yi Dugu to obtain the inheritance. Brother Long, I gave you face this time. I hope you will remember this in the future. What was the meaning of this? Longao could clearly sense that Yi Dugu was trying to curry favor with him. He was curious, after all, with Yi Dugu's status and strength, why would he try to curry favor with him? He couldn't figure it out, but now wasn't the time to be thinking about it. Brother Yi, don't worry, I will definitely remember this kindness. Please. Yidugu couldn't wait any longer. Longao and the Violet Thunder Ancestor didn't stop him, they immediately turned and left. Looking at the two of them disappearing, Yidugu couldn't wait to rush towards the Violet Thunder Peak. The 10 cultivators behind him surrounded the Violet Thunder Peak. Their intentions were clear. The Violet Thunder Peak had already become a forbidden area of the continent. No matter who it was, even if it was Longao, no one could enter the Violet Thunder Peak. As soon as Yidugu entered the Violet Thunder Peak, he immediately released his aura and began to search for the traces of the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor's primordial spirit. If he could obtain it, he believed that with his father's strength, not only would he be able to recover from his injuries, but he would also be able to possess the power of the Starry Sky Thunder. In fact, with the marvelous mathematician's strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to devour the Starry Sky Domain Emperor. He could easily enter the vast Starry Sky and capture several Starry Sky Domain Emperors. However, the marvelous mathematician didn't do so. The reason was simple. Yidugu's situation was very special. Because Yidugu himself had a thunder physique, in order to recover from his injuries, he had to devour a powerful primordial spirit with the power of thunder. After much consideration, the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor's primordial spirit was the most suitable. The marvelous mathematician and Yidugu took action so late because they were waiting for the right time. Now that Yidugu's injuries had been completely stabilized, it was the best time to devour the primordial spirit of the Violet Thunder Domain Emperor. But what was the result? The Violet Thunder Ancestor had beaten Yidugu to it. If Yidugu knew about this, he might go crazy. As the two left, the Violet Thunder Ancestor said solemnly, "I hope Yidugu won't suspect us. Otherwise, with our current strength, we are no match for Yidugu." Longao was well aware of Brother Violet Thunder's worries. In any case, Yidugu's strength was too strong. He was a level 6 Starry Sky cultivator. Even if his grandfather became a level 6 Starry Sky cultivator, he wouldn't be a match for Yidugu, let alone the two of them. Brother Violet Thunder, in this case, we can only take one step at a time. According to my speculation, even if Yidugu can't find the inheritance, he certainly won't suspect us. Chapter 1894. Although that was the case, the Purple Thunder Ancestor was still worried. "Big Brother Purple Thunder, what do you plan to do next?" Although the Purple Thunder sect had left the Purple Thunder Peak, they didn't lose a single person. This meant that the Purple Thunder sect was still one of the top existences in the Martial Sky continent. "Brother Long, I want to ask you for a favor. Please speak." Longao didn't know what his big brother Purple Thunder wanted him to do. Thinking about it, he seemed a little reluctant. "Brother Long, with the current situation of the Martial Sky continent, if I continue to lead the Purple Thunder sect, it will only lead to death." He seemed to have guessed something. "Big Brother Purple Thunder, Waving his hand, he stopped Longao from continuing. "Brother Long, listen to me first. You are a qualified master. In just a few years, the Dragon sect has become one of the top 10 existences. If the Purple Thunder sect can merge with the Dragon sect, I can say that it won't be long before the Dragon sect can dominate the Martial Sky continent." As expected, although Longao had guessed it, he still couldn't help but be shocked when he heard it. The Purple Thunder sect's strength was there for all to see. If the Dragon sect could really merge with the Purple Thunder sect, the Purple Thunder sect's strength would increase countless times. In the Martial Sky continent, other than the Heaven and Earth sect, which other sect could contend with the Dragon sect? He didn't even give Longao a chance to speak. "Brother Long, as your big brother, I beg you. I have already obtained the Starry Sky inheritance from my master. I will quickly refine it, and when I break through to the Starry Sky Domain Emperor realm, I will leave the Martial Sky continent and step into the vast Starry Sky." Since things had already reached this point, how could he refuse? Big Brother Purple Thunder, what about you? I will follow you to the massacre abyss. If Brother Long doesn't mind, I will be an elder of the dragon sect in the future. How about it? Many thanks, Big Brother. His heart was filled with joy. Longao was very clear on his Big Brother Purple Thunder's meaning. In the end, he still wanted to help him. With just the Purple Thunder sect and the Dragon sect's strength, they could only be considered one of the top 10 existences. Once the two sects merged, the situation would be completely different. Just like that, Longao and Purple Thunder Ancestor led hundreds of thousands of people to the massacre abyss. Yi Tianhua, who received the news, was naturally unwilling. As the master of the Violet Thunder sect, he hoped that the Violet Thunder sect would prosper and not be absorbed into the Dragon sect. However, Yi Tianhua did not say anything more. Since things had already come to this, what use was it if he refused? Slaughter abyss. Countless people from the Violet Thunder sect rushed in, causing the atmosphere in the massacre abyss to become extremely crowded. Purple Thunder Ancestor didn't seem to want to wait a moment longer. The news of the Dragon sect devouring the Violet Thunder sect had already spread. In just a few hours, the news of the Dragon sect devouring the Violet Thunder sect had already spread throughout the Martial Heaven continent. It shocked the entire continent. Is this true? This was the first question that came to everyone's mind when they received the news. Because no one was willing to believe that the Dragon sect would be able to swallow up the Violet Thunder sect. No matter what, the Violet Thunder sect's strength was obvious. Regardless of whether it was the Dragon sect or the Violet Thunder sect, they were both part of the 10 great factions. Immediately after, another piece of news came from the Dragon sect. Not only did the Dragon sect devour the Violet Thunder sect, even the old ancestor and master Yi Tianhua had become elders of the Dragon sect. What did this mean? With the merger of the two sects, the Dragon sect's strength would increase by several folds. In this way, the Dragon sect could be ranked second, while the first would be the Heaven and Earth sect. With Longao's deterrence and the Dragon sect devouring the Violet Thunder sect, who would dare to provoke Longao? Slaughter abyss. Brother Long, with the Dragon sect's current strength, I believe that we can expand our strength. Big Brother Purple Thunder, what do you mean? Very simple. Although the calamity will descend a year later, we still need to increase our strength. In an instant, Longao already understood Purple Thunder's meaning. Don't worry about the calamity first, focus on increasing your strength first. At this time, Yun Luoshan walked in and said, Master, Grand Elder, we've already spread the news. The effect is not bad, but there are still many who are unconvinced. It's fine. Longao had already expected this result. In this world, there would always be some people who wanted to be beaten. When the time comes, he just needs to use a little force to suppress them and everyone will obediently shut up. At this time, Master, there's news from the Sword sect. Yun Feng hurried in because he was very clear about the relationship between the Master and the Sword sect. A letter from the Sword sect? Opening the letter and glancing at it, Longao stood up and said, Big Brother Purple Thunder, everyone, I'll leave the matters of the sect to you. I have to go out for a trip. Without giving anyone a chance to ask, Longao took a big stride and disappeared. Everyone looked at each other. They did not know what had happened. Why would Longao be so anxious for no reason? Could it be that something had happened to the Sword sect? I'll also go. Purple Thunder Ancestor was still worried. Although he had not completely refined the Starry Sky inheritance and reached the Starry Sky Domain Emperor level, he was still a Grade 2 Starry Sky cultivator. There were some things he could help with. Longao and Purple Thunder Ancestor rushed to the Sword sect as fast as possible. Purple Thunder Ancestor asked curiously, Brother Long, what happened? Did something happen in the Sword sect? Big Brother Purple Thunder, the Sword sect is fine, but something happened to Murong Yener. Murong Yener? Murong Guena's beloved daughter? Purple Thunder Ancestor did not continue to ask because almost everyone knew about the matter between Longao and Murong Yener. Murong Yener liked Longao, but Longao rejected her directly. Sword Sect. Due to Jian Tian and Murong Guena's breakthroughs, the Sword Sect's strength had reached a new level, and it was still one of the top 10 sections. As soon as the two arrived, they were led into the main hall by the Sword Sect's disciples. Only Jian Tian, Murong Guena, and Yi Xian were present in the main hall. Uncle Murong, how is Yener? Murong Feng Guan's face was gloomy and full of worry. He said helplessly, Faction Leader Long, I had no choice this time. Su Renfeng asked me to give this to you. He said you will understand after reading it. Murong Feng Guan's face was gloomy and full of worry. Su Renfeng? Longao was filled with regret. He should have risked the consequences of killing Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Dragon. Now, he had let the tiger return to the mountain, leaving behind a future threat. If this continued, it would not work. Su Renfeng could deal with Murong Yener, but he could also deal with the others. Murong Guena took out a crystal ball. Longao poured his Yuan spirit chi into it. Then, a ray of light shot out from the crystal ball, and Su Renfeng's figure appeared. Chapter 1895. Longao, long time no see. Su Renfeng, where's Murong Yener? Longao's face was grim. He had not expected Su Renfeng to strike out at Murong Yener all of a sudden. What was Su Renfeng's strength? What was Murong Yener's strength? The difference in strength between the two of them was simply too great. In front of Su Renfeng, Murong Yener did not even have the slightest bit of resistance. He was blaming himself. Longao knew that if not for him, Yener would not have been captured by Su Renfeng, and her life and death would not have been uncertain. Longao, my request is simple. Hand over your broken void and all the star god sparks on you, and I'll let Murong Yener go. Otherwise, His face was filled with lust and evil. None of them were fools. Naturally, they knew what Su Renfeng meant. Jian Tian and Murong Guena did not say anything. After all, Su Renfeng was clearly here for Longao. They could not even get a word in. Sure. Where can I give it to you? Come. Suddenly, Su Renfeng's figure disappeared. However, an aura had already appeared. Master Dragon, we'll go with you. Waving his hand, Longao said in self-reproach, I was too careless this time around. Their target is me. If too many people were to go, I'm afraid it might spoil things. However, the Purple Thunder Grandmaster shook his head and said, Brother Long, many hands make light work. Since things had already come to this point, how could he reject it? Longao, the Purple Thunder Grandmaster, Jian Tian, and Murong Guena all left the main hall and followed the aura out quickly. As for Yi Xian, he stayed behind to guard the Sword Sect. In the wilderness there was no sign of anyone. There were rocks and weeds all around. The moment the four of them arrived, they saw Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Demon Dragon, as well as the controlled Murong Yener. Longao, welcome. Looking at Su Renfeng's face, Longao had the urge to beat him up. He was too despicable. Not only was he despicable, even his appearance was despicable. Murong Guena, I'm here. You can release Murong Yener now. Ha 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 ha. He laughed for a while. Longao, do you take me for a fool? With your current strength and divine abilities, once I release Murong Yener, do you think you would still obediently hand over the things I want? The terrifying power of the starry sky suppressed Murong Yener. As long as Su Renfeng wanted to, he could kill Murong Yener anytime and anywhere. It was precisely because of this that Su Renfeng was fearless. Without a hostage, would he dare to do this? Even if he and the evil-eyed demon dragon were grade 3 starry sky cultivators, they still feared Longao, although it sounded ridiculous. Su Renfeng, let go of my daughter first. Scram to the side. Who do you think you are? Su Renfeng did not put Morong Guena in his eyes at all. Even if it was Jian Tian, he would not be bothered. The Su Renfeng of today was no longer the same as before. His strength had skyrocketed. In Su Renfeng's opinion, other than the godly mathematician, Heaven's Will, and Yi Dugu, he was the strongest person in the entire Sky Martial continent. There was no need for him to be wary of anyone. Morong Guena seemed as though he wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Jian Tian. Old master, I'll listen to Brother Long. Jian Tian trusted Longao. Otherwise, he would not have summoned Longao over this time around. No matter how worried he was, since things had already come to this, Morong Guena could only choose to accept it. He just hoped that nothing would happen to his daughter. Otherwise, he would blame himself for the rest of his life. There was no need to talk about him. If something really happened to Morong Yener, Longao would blame himself for the rest of his life. The reason Morong Yener had been controlled by Su Renfeng was entirely because of Longao. Morong Guena would be lying if he said that he did not blame Longao. However, he also knew that this matter could not be blamed on Longao. No one could have known that Su Renfeng would suddenly attack Yener instead of the Dragon Valley's people. The current Dragon Valley was no longer the same as it had been in the past. It could be said that the Dragon Valley's defensive power far surpassed the Sword Sex. Su Renfeng was no fool. He naturally knew that if he could control the Dragon Valley's people, his chances of victory would be higher. However, he didn't want to take that risk. He just wanted to smoothly capture Morong Yener. Longao, my request is actually very simple. As long as you're willing to hand over what I want, I can guarantee that I won't harm a single hair on Morong Yener's head. How about it? Su Renfeng's meaning was very clear. Longao definitely wouldn't hand it over. Can I believe you? Do you think I will believe you? Instead of getting angry, Su Renfeng smiled and said casually, it doesn't matter. I can slowly torture Morong Yener. Do you think I should enjoy her body first, or devour some of her power first? You dare. There were simply countless Morong Feng. There was only one person that Su Renfeng was truly afraid of, and that was Longao. As for the other three people, Purple Thunder Ancestor, Jian Tian, and Morong Guena, Su Renfeng didn't put them in his eyes. Even if the three of them joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for him and the evil-eyed demon dragon. This was the gap between a Grade 2 Starry Sky Cultivator and a Grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator. Su Renfeng, if you let Morong Yener go, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, no matter where you go, I will kill you and destroy your life essence. A threat. In this case, was a threat useful? Su Renfeng knew very well that as long as Morong Yener was still in his hands, Longao wouldn't dare to act rashly. This was confidence. He sneered and said, Longao, since you don't want to, then I will give you some pressure first. Saying that, Su Renfeng directly pulled open Morong Yener's clothes, but Su Renfeng didn't go too far. In case Longao really didn't care about Morong Yener's life, he would have gone for wool and come home shorn. For Starry Sky super powerhouses, women were dispensable. As long as you had enough strength, what kind of woman couldn't you have? Stop. Didn't you hear him tell you to stop? The evil-eyed demon dragon sneered and said, Longao, my patience isn't as good as his. I will only ask you one thing, are you going to hand it over or not? The evil-eyed demon dragon was obviously filled with murderous intent, because in his opinion, if Longao really cared, then he would definitely hand over what he wanted. If Longao didn't care, then it was useless to talk nonsense. It was useless except for wasting time. In that case, he would directly kill this person and run away. With their speed, even Longao wouldn't be able to catch up with them. Longao could clearly feel the murderous intent erupting from the evil-eyed demon dragon's body. He shouted in his heart. If something really happened to Yener because of him, what should he do? Morong Yener, who had been silent all this time, suddenly said, "Brother Long, Yen wants to ask you something. P.S. I went to the hospital this morning and when I came back, I found that the tickets didn't increase at all. Forget about the monthly tickets, the recommendation tickets are free and given every day. Little Nine is already going all out. As long as everyone moves their hands, Little Nine can get more tickets, please." Chapter 1896. Nodding his head. Murong Yenner wasn't worried about her life and death at all, showing a fearless look. "Big Brother Long, when did you ever like me even a little bit?" Longao wasn't surprised at all because he had already guessed that Murong Yenner would definitely ask him this question. How should he answer? Longao asked himself honestly, he really didn't like Murong Yenner, not even a little bit. There were only 3 people in his heart, Aoshue Yuin and Bai Ling. Besides them, his heart couldn't hold any other woman. Looking at the silent Longao, Murong Yenner's face was filled with sadness. "Big Brother Long, farewell." Soul explosion. With Murong Yenner's strength, even if she had swallowed a grade 1 starry sky godhead, the explosion wouldn't hurt anyone. Everyone here was a starry sky cultivator. Under the starry sky, everyone was just an ant. Yenner don't. As if they had already guessed what Murong Yenner wanted to do, Jian Tian, Murong Guena, and Longao roared at the same time. It was too late. Fight it out. Longao used teleportation to summon his reincarnation avatar the moment his body disappeared. The reincarnation avatar restrained the man and dragon while he saved Murong Yenner. The speed of teleportation was too fast. Before the man and dragon could react, Longao's figure had already arrived beside Murong Yenner. 2 choices. If they chose to deal with Longao and protect Murong Yenner, the 2 would be destroyed by the reincarnation avatar. If they chose to deal with the reincarnation avatar, Murong Yenner would definitely be rescued by Longao. How should they choose? Of course, Su Renfeng and the evil-eye demon dragon didn't want to die. They had no choice but to deal with the reincarnation doppelganger. As for Murong Yenner, they couldn't care about anything else. Even if they lost one Murong Yenner, they could still catch countless more Murong Yenner. As long as they were Longao's family members. Samsara doppelganger and Longao did not chase after him. They wanted to protect Murong Yenner first. Return. Yenner, why are you so foolish? Brother Long, if you don't like me, then what's the point of me living in this world? There was a sense of desolation. Right now, Murong Yenner looked so sad, as if she was a person who was tired of life. Jian Tian and Murong Guena did not interrupt. They knew very well that even if Yenner was fine this time, she would not be liked by Longao. What would happen in the future? As long as Yenner had the intention to speak softly, she could do it at any time. They couldn't guard her all the time. Murong Guena's face was full of worry. What could he say? What could he do? The relationship between a man and a woman was originally a matter of mutual consent. It was understandable that Longao rejected his daughter. Could it be that he was going to blame Longao? Longao was also at a loss. He knew Yenner's character very well. If he rejected her like this, then there was no doubt that Yenner would kill herself. He could save her for a while, but could he save her for a lifetime? Brother Long, Yenner wants to ask you for a favor. Say it. Longao actually wanted to say, as long as you don't ask, I'll promise you anything, except for liking you. Longao couldn't be blamed for feelings. If he didn't feel anything, then he didn't feel anything. In Longao's opinion, since he didn't like Yenner, then he shouldn't force himself to be with her. If he did that, he would only harm Yenner, and Yenner wouldn't benefit at all. Brother Long, I want to go to the Dragon Valley. Can I? How could Longao not understand Yenner's meaning? Things had already reached this point. How could he refuse? Helplessly shrugging, Longao smiled and said, Do as you wish. Without saying anything else, Longao handed Murong Yener to Murong Guena, turned around, and said in an extremely cold voice, Su Renfeng, Evil-Eye Dragon, you've already crossed my bottom line. So, you must die today. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Su Renfeng smiled confidently and said, Longao, if we fight force with force, we definitely won't be your match. However, if you want to catch up to us, that's impossible. You'd better guard your family at all times. Otherwise, if you're not careful, one will die and another will die. The man and the dragon weren't afraid of Longao's strength at all. What they were afraid of was Longao's shattered starry sky. Under the shattered starry sky, who would dare to complain? As for Longao, he knew very well that what Su Renfeng said was true. Even if he could teleport, he wouldn't be able to catch up to the man and the dragon. He had to kill them in one strike. Otherwise, he would be letting the tiger return to the mountain. Longao didn't want to see what happened today a second time because he couldn't guarantee who the man and the dragon would catch next. Parents? Brothers? Friends? No matter who it was, he couldn't. Longao, are you afraid? Without giving Longao any chance to speak, Su Renfeng continued to threaten, Longao, as long as you hand over what we want, I can swear a blood oath that from now on, I will never touch your family again. Moreover, all the grievances between you and me will be written off. A threat. A blatant threat. As a grade 3 starry sky cultivator, Su Renfeng believed that he was qualified to threaten the other party. So what if the other party had a heaven-defying spirit technique? As long as he missed, he and the evil-eyed demon dragon could leave and deal with Longao's family. Longao couldn't just ignore his family, right? If Su Renfeng thought of it, how could Longao not think of it? Could he miss in one strike? It seemed a bit unrealistic. If it were the man and the dragon from before, he would have had full confidence. Unfortunately, he didn't seize the opportunity and let the man and the dragon escape. Now that the man and the dragon had become grade 3 starry sky cultivators, if he missed in one strike, killing the man and the dragon would be several times more difficult. Su Renfeng, I can hand over the things, but you have to promise me one thing. Please say it. Hearing that Longao was willing to hand over, Su Renfeng suddenly felt happy. Under such a strong threat, even Longao had to give in. It seemed that having strength was really good. If it was him a year ago, could he be so arrogant? It was almost impossible. My request is very simple. You just have to kill one person for me, and I will hand over everything in my hand. Who? Su Renfeng immediately became vigilant because he knew that the person Longao wanted him to kill was definitely not simple. Otherwise, why would Longao want to borrow his hand? After all, the other party's strength was enough to threaten a grade 3 starry sky cultivator. Heavenly Tao. Fuck your grandpa, Longao, you dare to play with me? Su Renfeng was furious to the extreme because Longao was obviously playing with him. It was simply unbearable, 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 unbearable. P.S. The 4th chapter has been delivered. I have to go for anti-inflammatory injections in the afternoon. The remaining 6 chapters will be updated in the evening. Chapter 1897. Tian Dao, the #1 expert in the Sky Martial Continent. Starry Sky Domain Lord, could he kill Tian Dao by himself? Su Renfeng knew very well that Longao was obviously playing with him. How could he not feel angry? Can't do it? Without waiting for Su Renfeng to speak, Longao said with a mocking face, Since you can't do it, why are you chattering here? Just as he finished, Longao's figure suddenly disappeared. Not good. One man and one dragon had already seen Longao's spatial teleportation. As the pinnacle of speed, fortunately, Longao was only a level 2 starry sky cultivator. If he broke through to level 3 starry sky cultivator, would the two of them still be able to leave smoothly? At this moment, a sword chi that was tens of thousands of feet long came with the momentum and directly exploded. Not only that, in order to be able to hit the target with one hit, Longao used Shatter the Starry Sky at the same time. This time, he used all his strength and used Shatter the Starry Sky 8 times in a row. Cracks appeared in the starry sky, and one man and one dragon were completely stunned. They never thought that Longao could continuously use cracks in the starry sky. They miscalculated. Give up the main body and leave with your primordial spirit. The evil-eye demon dragon took Su Renfeng, but before they could leave, they were already swallowed by the cracks in the starry sky. However, the evil-eye demon dragon had a secret technique and forcibly escaped with its primordial spirit. They were terrified to the extreme, as if they had been summoned by the god of death. The two of them did not dare to stay any longer and escaped as fast as they could. If the main body fell, they could still find another body. If the primordial spirit was destroyed, then it would be true destruction. Longao, we will definitely take revenge for this. Chase. Stopping Murong Guena, who was about to chase, Longao shook his head. Brother Long, let the tiger return to the mountain and leave behind future troubles. How could Longao not know what Murong Guena meant? He said helplessly, the evil-eye demon dragon is not simple. If we rashly chase after it, I'm afraid. Before Longao could finish, in the distance, there was a loud bang, and a ball of flame shot into the sky. What happened? Looking at the endless flames that shot into the sky, everyone was very curious. Not good. Let's go. Ha 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 ha. You want to escape from the hands of the flame tyrant? Dream on. Flame tyrant? Starry sky cultivator? Longao was very curious. When had a flame tyrant appeared on the Martial Heaven continent? Had it come from the secret realm? After all, as long as the clairvoyant was still alive, no one could leave the star-secret realm. Grade 4 Starry Sky Cultivator, let's go. Endless flames rolled over, as if the entire 9 heavens had been dyed red. Everyone stopped because the path in front of them had been completely sealed off. They had no choice but to turn around and work together to resist the endless flames. With just the two of you? The endless flames slowly converged toward the center. Not long after, a gigantic flame monarch appeared in front of everyone, its entire body emitting endless flames. Even its eyes were constantly emitting flames. Who are you? Longao felt very dignified because a grade 4 Starry Sky cultivator had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Are you Longao? You know me? This time, Longao was even more curious because he was almost certain that he didn't know this so-called flame monarch in front of him. In the 9 heavens, thousands of miles of clouds. Heavenly Tao, you've gone too far. Long Baishan's face was filled with anger because the flame monarch had been sent by the Heavenly Tao. The Heavenly Tao had begun to pay attention to Longao, but due to the deterrence of the clairvoyant, it didn't dare to kill Longao. It completely ignored Long Batian. In the Heavenly Tao's view, even if Long Baishan's cultivation had broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Lord level, he still wasn't its opponent. If the clairvoyant hadn't forbidden him to attack, Long Batian would have died 10,000 years ago. Longao and the others retreated step by step because a grade 4 Starry Sky cultivator was like a mountain that they couldn't cross even half a step. Just as the flame monarch was about to attack, an endless water curtain suddenly appeared in front of Longao. In just a few minutes, a gigantic ice monarch appeared. One fire, one water, 2 extremes, yet mutually opposing forces. Another grade 4 Starry Sky cultivator? Longao could clearly sense that the grade 4 Starry Sky cultivator that had just appeared in front of him had obviously come to help them. Who was it that wanted to deal with them? Was it the Heavenly Tao? Longao had already guessed it. Besides the Heavenly Tao and Long Batian, who else could casually mobilize a grade 4 Starry Sky cultivator? The clairvoyant definitely wouldn't do such a thing. Since the clairvoyant didn't deal with him, Longao believed that the clairvoyant wouldn't do it again within a year. Since the flame monarch belonged to the heavenly Tao, then the ice monarch belonged to Long Batian. Long Batian, you're too presumptuous. Seeing Long Batian take action, the heavenly Tao didn't seem to have expected that a puny Long Batian would dare to provoke it. If the clairvoyant could deter it, then what qualifications did Long Batian have? Long Batian didn't say anything and just stared at the heavenly Tao coldly. The meaning was clear: if you dare to touch Longao, I'll fight you to the death. The two of them looked at each other as murderous auras rose from their bodies and collided fiercely. A battle was on the verge of breaking out. In fact, the heavenly Tao was more or less a little afraid. If it were the previous Long Batian, with his strength as a domain lord, it would have been a piece of cake to kill him. But now, the situation had completely reversed. Long Batian had smoothly broken through to the Starry Sky Domain Lord Divinity, after devouring the Starry Sky Domain Lord Divinity. If they really fought, it would be fine if he won, but what if he lost? Stop, come with me. Hearing the clairvoyant's sudden spiritual consciousness transmission, both the heavenly Tao and Long Batian were shocked. The two of them didn't like each other, but they didn't dare to provoke the clairvoyant. With the super strength of a Starry Sky Domain Lord, it would be a piece of cake for him to destroy them. As the heavenly Tao and Long Batian left, the Flame Monarch and the Ice Monarch, who had been eyeing them covetously, also left. In the end, whether it was the Flame Monarch or the Ice Monarch, they weren't real existences. They were the convergence of power released by the heavenly Tao and Long Batian. This was also one of the Starry Sky Domain Lord's magical powers. However, a Starry Sky cultivator with this kind of power could scare Longao and the others. Once they met a level 4 Starry Sky cultivator, they would collapse on their own. Seeing the two sides disappear, Longao and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Who the hell wants to deal with us? Until now, Jian Tian still had some lingering fear. Everyone had already guessed that this matter definitely had nothing to do with Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Demon Dragon. If they had such a powerful helper, then why would the man and the dragon have to run away and even lose their original bodies? With just their primordial spirits, they probably couldn't even compete with a level 2 Starry Sky cultivator. Chapter 1898. Outer Sea. Crystal Palace. The divine mathematician's face was very ugly. After all, the heavenly Tao did not take him seriously at all. Heavenly Tao, what do you mean by this? In the beginning, the heavenly Tao still had the confidence to compete with the divine mathematician, but since he knew that the divine mathematician was not a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, but a Starry Sky Domain Emperor, he did not even have the slightest desire to compete. The Starry Sky Domain Emperor controlled life and death. I just want to test Longao. Don't you know that Longao is someone I value? Sure enough, the heavenly Tao had actually guessed it, otherwise, he would not have personally tested Longao. Starry Sky cultivators, in the eyes of the heavenly Tao, were still not even a fart, but the person valued by the divine mathematician, no matter how low his cultivation was still a great threat to him. He did not seem to want to pursue the matter. The divine mathematician said with a little anger, "From now on, neither of you is allowed to deal with Longao. As for a year later, I will not continue to interfere." I know. Not wanting to stay any longer, the heavenly Tao turned around and left. Sword Sect. After successfully rescuing Murong Yener, Longao's face was very dignified, because Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Dragon's primordial spirit had escaped far away, and it was easy to find their physical bodies. Letting the tiger return to the mountain would leave behind future troubles. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. As long as Su Renfeng and the Evil Eye Dragon did not die, they would be a threat. Murong Yener seemed to be unable to wait for even a moment, and immediately followed Longao back to the massacre abyss. He was very helpless. Things had already come to this point, could he choose to refuse? Walking on the road, Longao was very worried. If he took Yen back to the massacre abyss like this, how would he explain it to Aoshue and Yuin? If he had feelings for Yen it would be fine, but the problem now was that he did not like Yen at all. What should he do? Massacre abyss. When Longao saw Aoshue and Yuin, he thought that the two women would be unhappy. But what was the result? Yener, Aoshue, and Yuin seemed to be chatting happily. It could be said that the three of them felt like old friends at first sight. They directly addressed each other as sisters, causing Longao to be a little confused. This was what women were like. Thus, Yuin sat alone with Longao in the pavilion. The surroundings were very secluded. Longao's feelings for Yuin were very special. That was because when he was bullied and ridiculed by everyone, for an entire 10 years, Yuin was the only one who did not abandon him. She did not hesitate to sacrifice herself to accompany him. Brother Long, little sister Yen seems to like you a lot. Don't you like her at all? I don't feel anything at all. He didn't hide anything, because Longao knew that as long as he did something, Yuin would support him unconditionally. I have a rough understanding of little sister Yen's situation. Brother Long, if it's possible, you can try to slowly accept her. How could Longao not know what Yuin meant? As if he didn't want to continue thinking about this problem, Longao said, Yuin, in a few days, I'm preparing to leave the massacre abyss. I'm afraid I won't be back for a while. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Aoshue. Don't worry, I'll take care of little sister Aoshue. You must be careful outside. Longao hugged Yuin gently and didn't continue talking. The two of them sat quietly under the setting sun. Old Seven, do you have time? Longao was cultivating alone when Longzio's voice came from outside the door. Longao didn't have any resentment towards his fifth sister. Instead, he missed the past. He got up and opened the door. Seeing his fifth sister's worried face, Longao asked curiously, Fifth sister, what's wrong? The current Longzio, with the focus of the family's nurturing, had reached the supreme divine Tao. She had also devoured a grade 1 starry sky godhead. When the time was right and she completely refined the starry sky godhead, she would officially become a starry sky cultivator. Longzio sighed deeply and followed Longao into the courtyard. After sitting down, Longzio looked like she wanted to say something but stopped. Fifth sister, what's the matter? If I can help, I won't refuse. Longzio smiled helplessly. Old Seven, I know that your status and strength are different from before. You're the only one who can help me with this matter. No problem. Longzio was even more curious. What was the matter with fifth sister? After thinking for a while, Longzio finally said, Old Seven, what do you think of Elder Liuli? Elder Liuli? Longao didn't know what fifth sister's intention was, but he still answered truthfully, Liuli is a good person. He's a good helper. Now that Elder Liuli has devoured the starry sky godhead, I believe he should be able to break through to become a starry sky cultivator within a year. Longzio shook her head and said embarrassedly, I'm not asking you about Elder Liuli's ability and strength. I'm asking you about his character. Longao was really stupid. Longzio had already said so much, but Longao still didn't understand. His character should be okay. Fifth sister, what do you mean? Why don't you just say it? Longao was extremely depressed. Fifth sister had already said so much, but he still did not know what she meant. He hated beating around the bush. After all, Longzio was his sister. There was nothing that she could not say. Old Seven, looking at fifth sister who wanted to say something but stopped, Longao almost broke down. He said helplessly, Fifth sister, if you don't say it, I'll leave first. I still have a lot of things to do. Longao had nothing else to do. At this time, other than cultivating, he was cultivating. However, if he didn't say it, who knew when fifth sister would say it? Wait. Fifth sister, just say it. You and I are siblings. No matter what it is, as long as I can do it, I'll definitely help you. Long Zio gritted her teeth and seemed to have decided something. She nodded and said, Old Seven, to be honest, I actually like Elder Liuli very much. It's just that his status and strength. At this point, Long Zio didn't continue. However, the meaning in her words was very clear. After hearing fifth sister's words, Long Ao was completely dumbfounded. He had never thought that fifth sister actually liked Elder Liuli. Was this true? If fifth sister hadn't said it herself, Long Ao knew very well that he wouldn't have believed it. After all, Elder Liuli's age was obvious. Fifth sister, are you sure? Seeing fifth sister nod in front of him, Long Ao smiled and said, Fifth sister, Elder Liuli is very good. He's still not married. If you want, I can be a matchmaker for you. I believe he won't object. If Long Zio was just a disciple of a family, Liuli might not have taken a fancy to her. However, Long Zio's identity was not simple. She was Long Ao's fifth sister. Although they were only cousins, Long Zio's identity was there. Now that she had devoured a starry sky godhead, it was only a matter of time before she broke through to the starry sky cultivator realm. P.S. I came back late. This is the 6th chapter. Chapter 1899. Seventh Sister, don't tell anyone about this for now. I'm afraid that Elder Liuli will refuse. Long Zio got up and left silently. Looking at fifth sister's gradually disappearing figure, Long Ao didn't know whether to be happy or sad. The current dragon sect was already so powerful that no one dared to provoke it. He thought that his siblings had the capital to be confident, but in the end, it was deeply rooted. Changing this concept was not something that could be done in a short period of time. 2 hours later. Master, are you looking for me? Elder Liuli, please take a seat. Long Ao admired Liuli very much, but he didn't like her. The reason was simple. Liuli was a good helper. Back then, under such circumstances, she had resolutely chosen to follow him. He had to admit that Liuli's taste was really sharp. The reason why he didn't like her was that she was too scheming. In Long Ao's heart, he actually didn't want to matchmake fifth sister and Liuli. Could he really? Long Ao knew very well that his fifth sister had never liked anyone in all these years. Liuli was the first. He couldn't bear to. Let's give it a try. Long Ao said with a smile, Elder Liuli, do you know my fifth sister, Long Zio? Of course I do. What do you mean, master? Why did he suddenly mention fifth sister? I don't like to beat around the bush. My fifth sister likes you. What do you mean? He was a little shocked. Because Liuli never expected that the master would call him here for this. Before Liuli could speak, Long Ao continued, Are you willing or not? Give me a definite answer. Remember, if you don't like my fifth sister, don't provoke her. Of course, Long Ao didn't want to see his fifth sister being bullied, not even by Liuli. He could sacrifice Liuli, but he couldn't do without his fifth sister. Master, to be honest, I also have a good impression of fifth sister. It's just that because of our status, I'm afraid that I'm not worthy of her. It was indeed a good thing that both of them had such thoughts. To Azure, Long Zio was the master's fifth elder sister. Be it in terms of status or identity, she was far above him. Furthermore, due to her identity, Liuli could almost guarantee that Long Zio would obtain more and more starry sky godheads in the future. In other words, Long Zio would definitely become a powerful starry sky cultivator in the future. Not only that, apart from liking Long Zio to begin with, Liuli also had some selfish motives. If he could walk together with the fifth miss, then there was no doubt that in the future, whether it was his status or the godheads he devoured, they would skyrocket. Unless there was something wrong with Lu Li's brain, she definitely wouldn't reject such a good thing. He was not surprised at all. The more it was like this, the more worried Longao was. But now that the two of them were in love, what else could he say? If Liu Li didn't like fifth sister, then he could still find an excuse. Since things had already come to this, he could only choose to accept it. I won't ask too much. The rest of the matter is up to you. Elder Liu Li, you're a man after all. You should take the initiative. What do you think? Master, I know what to do. Longao knew very well that although fifth sister liked Liu Li very much, she couldn't take the initiative to pursue him. If this got out, fifth sister would be laughed at by others. Master, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave first. Longao nodded. Liu Li got up, turned around, and slowly left. Just as Liu Li stepped out of the door and was about to leave, Longao's voice sounded again. If there comes a day when you dare to let my sister down. There was a click. Liu Li nodded heavily and left quickly without saying anything. Longao's meaning was very clear. If you dare to let my fifth sister down, I'll make sure you have to bear the consequences. Longao had never done this before. But for his fifth sister, he would go all out. He had to admit that Liu Li was indeed very fast. In less than a day, he had already started to pursue Long Zio. Moreover, his pursuit was very fierce, wave after wave, without stopping at all. Longao cultivated in peace. As for the matter between fifth sister and Liu Li, he didn't intend to ask about it at all. It was still the same thing. The matter between the two of them should be solved by the two of them. Outsiders were superfluous. The vast starry sky was boundless. Ever since Xiling and Bai Ling left the Tianwu continent, they had been rushing toward the place they wanted to go. However, their primordial spirits had not recovered to their peak, so their speed was obviously not good. Originally, it would only take a few days, but now it would take a few months. In the vast starry sky cultivators could be seen everywhere. Even ninth-level starry sky cultivators could be found everywhere. The two of them knew very well that once they were discovered and couldn't escape, only death would await them. Sister, we're almost there. According to our injuries, once we go back, we definitely won't be able to come out in a short time. I. Bai Ling said I 3 times in a row, but she still couldn't finish her sentence. How could Xiling not know what his sister meant? He said, Bai Ling, you have to remember what you promised me. Moreover, with your current strength, even if you go back, not only will you not be able to help him, but you will also become a burden to him. Sister, do you think Brother Long will find us? Who knows? If he wants to find us, he will definitely find us. If he doesn't want to find us, then even if we stand in front of him, he won't be able to find us. Bai Ling, you have to remember that not all men are sincere. We can use this opportunity to test him and see if he is sincere to you. Bai Ling was almost certain that Brother Long was sincere to her. However, her sister's words made no sense. In her current situation, it was indeed not suitable for her to go back. Not to mention whether she would be able to help Brother Long, just the seal of the air shield alone was a big problem. Being able to leave this time could be considered to have scared the clairvoyant. If the clairvoyant were to attack without regard for anything else, then there would only be one outcome: mutual destruction. If they went back now and touched the seal of the air shield, they would be discovered by the clairvoyant. At that time, not to mention finding Brother Long, it would be a big problem if they could even get past the clairvoyant. Sister, I know what to do. After we go back, I will cultivate hard and try to recover to my peak condition as soon as possible. Then, I can wait for Brother Long to find me, and we can leave together. Bai Ling and Xiling's strength at their peak was terrifying. Even the clairvoyant had to be wary of them. One could imagine their strength. That's right. Our priority now is to recover to our peak strength. Everything else is nonsense. Don't think about anything else. Come back with me. Bai Ling didn't continue to dwell on it. Xiling and Bai Ling quickly flew forward. In a short while, the two of them had disappeared into the vast starry sky. I also came here to kill Longao. He was shocked. Lu Chong said worriedly, Xiao Ye, even if we join forces, we might not have full confidence. If you don't remove the roots when cutting the weeds, there will be endless trouble in the future. Fang Ye only said this one sentence before she released her aura, which rolled out in wave. The next minute, Long Ao's figure had already appeared. Seeing that it was Lu Chong and Fang Ye, he sneered in his heart. I didn't look for you, but you came to me on your own accord. What happened back then was still vivid in his mind. I wonder what brings the two of you to my dragon sect this time? Grade 2 Starry Sky Cultivator? Sure enough, it was the same as the legends. It seemed that Long Ao wasn't strong, but relied on his heaven-defying divine ability to deter the world. However, after thinking about it, it made sense. Shattering the starry sky, such a heaven-defying divine ability was simply unheard of. Long Ao, the grudge between you and me will be resolved one day. We didn't come here to kill you this time. I believe you are a straightforward person. Hand over the shattering starry sky and we will leave immediately. Within 100 years we will never make a move. Otherwise, not only you, even the dragon sect behind you will be destroyed together. A threat. A blatant threat. Would Long Ao fall for this? If he was afraid of threats, he would have already given the item to Su Renfeng and the evil eye demon dragon. Why wait until now? Shattering the starry sky? Since you want the shattering starry sky, I will let you feel the power of the shattering starry sky first. Taken aback. The name of the tree silhouette. Although they hadn't really seen the so-called shattering starry sky, they had heard that it had been used hundreds of times. The two of them retreated again and again for fear of being swallowed by the starry sky crack. If that happened, the consequences would be unimaginable. Long Ao smiled sarcastically, raised his hand gently, and waved it towards the two of them. With Long Ao's current strength, he couldn't use the shattering starry sky accurately. Otherwise, the shattering starry sky alone was enough to kill enemies above his level and sweep away grade 3 starry sky cultivators. In other words, when Long Ao used the shattering starry sky, the greatest divine ability was deterrence, followed by luck. If he was unlucky, the starry sky crack wouldn't swallow the enemy at all, but would appear in the surroundings. If he was very lucky, he could directly descend on the enemy. Thinking about it, one could imagine what the consequences would be. It was unknown if Long Ao's luck was too good, or if Lu Chong's luck was bad, but the shattering starry sky used this time landed squarely on Lu Chong's body. At the same time, a starry sky crack appeared on Lu Chong's body and he was swallowed by the starry sky crack directly. Taken aback, Fang Ye didn't dare to hesitate. She immediately used all her strength to pull Lu Chong's body out. However, Lu Chong was swallowed up by the starry sky crack. In just a few seconds, Lu Chong's body was completely swallowed up. Even his life essence also dissipated. This was the terror of the shattering starry sky. Killing Lu Chong in one move. Was this for real? Fang Ye watched everything that had just happened in a daze. She was scared silly. She thought that Long Ao's strength wasn't that great, and that he relied entirely on his divine ability. Legends were simply not credible. But in the end, Long Ao's strength combined with his divine ability killed Lu Chong in one move. Looking at Lu Chong being swallowed up by the starry sky crack, Long Ao was a little dumbfounded. His luck was really good this time, descending on Lu Chong's body. It seemed that this person was too unlucky. Fang Ye, I believe you have seen the power of the shattering starry sky, but you haven't experienced it yourself. How about this? I will let you try the power of the shattering starry sky. What do you think? Shameless. Was this a question that could be asked? The result of trying was being swallowed up by the starry sky crack. Fangya wasn't a fool. The more calm the other party was, the more worried she was. With Lu Chong as an example, the current Fangya was like a frightened bird. Where was the arrogance and confidence from before? She couldn't wait to leave this damned place. P.S. The 8th chapter has been delivered. There are still 2 chapters left. It will be delivered later. Little 9 shamelessly continues to ask for vote. After all, votes are very important to an author. Chapter 1901. She grew even greedier. If she could obtain this spirit technique, wouldn't it be like adding wings to a tiger? If she left, she was unwilling. If she didn't leave, she was afraid that she would follow in Lu Chong's footsteps. Are you afraid? Looking at Longao, who had a face full of ridicule, Fangya also lost her confidence. If she lost, then only death awaited her. Thinking of this, Fangya slowly retreated. Would Longao stop? Longao wouldn't cause any more trouble for her, just like Su Renfeng and the evil-eyed demon dragon. If it weren't for her luck, she didn't know what would have happened to Yen'er. Even facing a grade 3 starry sky cultivator, Longao wasn't afraid. The reincarnation sword instantly appeared in his hand. With a flip of his hand, he used the 4th move of reincarnation, 10,000 feet rainbow, and the 5th move, reincarnation meteorite explosion, one after another. Under normal circumstances, Longao's strength couldn't compete with Fangya. The gap between a grade 3 starry sky cultivator and a grade 2 starry sky cultivator was too big. After all, Longao couldn't be lucky every time, and the starry sky cracks would always appear on the enemy. But now, the situation was completely different. Lu Chong was killed in one move. With the previous example, Fangya's state of mind had completely changed. Shocked, Fangya turned around and quickly left. Sneering. Teleporting through space, Longao's speed soared to the extreme, directly blocking Fangya's path and using shattering starry sky. The terrifying starry sky crack looked like a divine beast that swallowed everything. This time, his luck was slightly worse. It didn't appear on Fangya's divine beast, but the starry sky crack appeared in the space around Fangya. Even so, Fangya was completely frightened. Longao, the grudge between us is written off. From now on, I won't come to you again, how about it? Forced to compromise, Fangya's face turned gloomy to the extreme, looking as ugly as it could get. Compromise meant fear. Fear meant that he would lose face. But in the face of death, everything was fleeting. Longao smiled. Being able to kill Lu Chong and force Fangya to compromise was already enough. Over the years, such a thing had never happened before. A grade 2 starry sky cultivator could kill a grade 3 starry sky cultivator in a single move and scare off another grade 3 starry sky cultivator. Fangya, I can spare your life, but you have to promise me one thing. What is it? Since things had already come to this point, could he say no? He had a bad premonition. What kind of trick was Longao trying to play? At this moment, Fangya was extremely depressed. She had assumed that as long as she didn't provoke Master God Diviner, she and Lu Chong would be able to dominate this mid-level plane. And the result? My request is very simple. As long as you are willing to submit to me, you will not die. He was furious. Longao, you've gone too far. With a sneer, Longao said sarcastically, the winner is the king, and the loser is the bandit. If I lose today's battle, will you let me go? I think you won't, so there is no such thing as going too far. You just need to answer me, do you agree or not? Longao's meaning was very clear. How could Fangya not understand? If she agreed, then she would forever submit to Longao in the future. If he didn't agree, It wouldn't be easy for him to leave today. Shame. It was simply a great shame. Ever since she broke through to the starry sky cultivator realm, she had never encountered such a thing. One wrong step led to many wrong steps. Longao did not urge her and waited patiently. At this moment, Fang Ye, Brother Long is talented and has unlimited potential. If you follow Brother Long, I believe your future will be bright, ha ha ha. With a loud laugh, Wenlin's figure suddenly appeared. Wenlin was also a level 3 starry sky cultivator, but his strength was far above Fang Ye and Lu Chang's. Unless the two joined forces, they would never be Wenlin's match in a one-on-one fight. Wenlin, who do you think you are? Do you think you have the right to speak here? Fang Ye did not like Wenlin, but now that Lu Chong had fallen, she was no match for the other party at all with her strength. There was a wolf in front and a tiger behind. How should she deal with it? Brother Long, we haven't seen each other for a year. How have you been? How have you been? Longao did not like Wenlin very much. He was a typical person who hid a knife behind a smile. He would rather be friends with Fang Ye than with Wenlin. Fang Ye, what do you think? Longao, I have no problem agreeing with you, but you have to promise me one thing. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Without waiting for Fang Ye to speak, Longao had already guessed what Fang Ye wanted to say. She wanted him to kill Wenlin. There was no need to start a war with Wenlin for Fang Ye. In any case, Wenlin's strength was there. Even if he used Shattering Starry Sky, he might not be Wenlin's opponent. Unless it was a last resort, he absolutely did not want to fall out with Wenlin. Since Longao guessed it, Wenlin also guessed it. However, he did not show the slightest anger. Instead, he smiled and said, Fang Ye, you and I have fought for 10,000 years. I have already let go of this grudge. I hope you can do the same. Humph, I swear I will not stop until I kill you in this life. Hearing Fang Ye's words, Longao also felt a little curious. He did not know what kind of grudge there was between Fang Ye and Wenlin that made them fight to the death. Even so, Longao had already decided that he would not provoke Wenlin for Fang Ye. As for Fang Ye, she also knew very well that with her strength alone, she was absolutely no match for Wenlin. Although Longao's cultivation had just broken through to Grade 2 Starry Sky Cultivator, his strength was enough to threaten a Grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator. If she had Longao's help, it would be very easy to deal with Wenlin. Fang Ye did not care much about Lu Chong's death, because she had never liked Lu Chong. It was just that Lu Chong kept pestering her. However, in Fang Ye's heart, she could not wait to kill Wenlin. The reason was very simple. Back then, Fang Ye's parents and brothers were killed by Wenlin. She had to take revenge for this hatred. With the help of spiritual awareness sound transmission, Fang Ye told him about the hatred between her and Wenlin. Longao only said 4 words, "What does it have to do with me?" Longao, do you know why Wenlin killed my family? He shook his head. If the other party did not say, how could he know? It's because of this. Fang Ye took out a small booklet from her bosom. It was obviously an antique. Longao, as long as you help me kill Wenlin, I will not only choose to submit to you, but I will also give you this martial technique in my hand. What do you think? P.S. The 9th chapter has been delivered. It's 2:30. Xiao Jiu is really sleepy and can't write anymore. The last chapter will be added tomorrow. Including the 5 chapters tomorrow, there will be 6 chapters. Good night, everyone. Chapter 1902. What kind of martial skill was this? Wenlin actually slaughtered Fang Ye's whole family for this martial skill. Fang Ye was very clear about her current situation. In front of her was Longao and behind her was Wenlin. It was almost impossible for her to leave safely. In that case, she would borrow Longao's hand to kill Wenlin. Thinking about it, she would not lose anything. Longao, I can't practice this martial skill because I'm not a man. It turned out that this martial skill of the Fong family could only be practiced by men. This was the real reason why Fong Ye had not practiced it until now. As for Lu Chong, it was also a tragedy. From the beginning to the end, Fong Ye had not been used to him. Otherwise, this martial skill would have been passed on to him. Agree? Or not? Longao knew that if he agreed with Fong Ye, he would inevitably become enemies with Wenlin. Once he failed to kill Wenlin and Wenlin escaped, there would be a lot of trouble in the future. If he did not agree, not to mention this martial skill, at least Fong Ye would not surrender to him. What should he do? Seeing that Longao did not speak, Wenlin's face began to gradually become gloomy. It was better to be safe than sorry. If Longao really agreed, he would be attacked from the front and the back. At that time, whether he could resist the joint attack of Longao and Fong Ye would be a big problem. Brother Long, if it weren't for me, you would have been killed by Fong Ye. Do you really want to repay kindness with evil? In the end, Wenlin was still afraid. This did not mean that Wenlin was afraid of Longao's strength. After all, Longao was only a second-level Starry Sky cultivator. What Wenlin was really afraid of was Longao's supernatural power, shatter the Starry Sky. I promise you. He was suddenly happy. Wenlin's face changed dramatically and he roared angrily, Longao, do you really want to be my enemy? Wenlin never thought that Longao would really choose to agree with Fong Ye. In this way, wouldn't he be in a passive position? He ignored Wenlin. Fong Ye said, Longao, we can sign a bloodline contract. From now on, I will. He waved his hand. Before Fong Ye could finish, Longao interrupted her and said, I believe you. Fong Ye's expression changed when she heard those words, but she didn't say anything. Fong Ye did not expect that Longao would choose to believe her. After all, there was still a grudge between her and Longao. He threw the booklet in his hand at Longao. He caught it with a backhand. Wenlin kept retreating. If it was a one-on-one fight, he wouldn't be afraid of anyone. However, the current situation was a little troublesome. Not to mention the two joining forces, just Longao's shattering Starry Sky was not something he could contend with. He had already seen Lu Chang's fate. Wenlin was naturally unwilling to follow in Lu Chang's footsteps and die here. Let's go. Now that things had come to this, staying here would only lead to death. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. Wenlin knew very well that as long as he could improve his cultivation and break through from Grade 3 Starry Sky Cultivator to Grade 4 Starry Sky Cultivator, even if Longao possessed shattering Starry Skies, he could still take the risk and fight. Want to leave? Longao put away the booklet and chased after Wenlin with Fong Ye. However, due to the difference in cultivation, Fong Ye could not catch up with Wenlin. However, Longao's situation was completely different. Grabbing Fong Ye's hand, Longao directly used teleportation and chased after them at the fastest speed. Both sides were not slow, but Longao's teleportation was too abnormal. Even if there was a difference in cultivation level, the distance between the two sides was getting closer and closer. At this speed, Longao could catch up with Wenlin in a dozen minutes at most. Longao, you will definitely regret it in the future. Longao sneered and said, I would rather believe Fong Ye than you. Wenlin was a typical person who hid a knife behind a smile. You never knew when Wenlin would deal with you. It was because of this that Longao chose Fong Ye instead of the so-called Wenlin. Was it just for a martial technique? Longao did not lack martial techniques at all. He believed that Long Fu must have many Starry Sky martial technique. It was just that Longao did not use them. The reason was very simple. Starry Sky martial techniques were valued for their quality, not for their quantity. Holding the reincarnation sword, he used teleportation. Longao directly slashed the reincarnation sword chi towards Wenlin. The terrifying reincarnation Sword Chi rushed towards Wen Lin in a frenzy. The current Wen Lin did not have the slightest confidence to fight. It did not matter whether he could win or not. Without confidence, he had already lost. It was also because of this that Longao dared to chase after him so arrogantly. Otherwise, once Wen Lin went all out, the consequences would be obvious. If he was unlucky and the space crack could not swallow Wen Lin, then with his own strength, even with Fang Ye, he would not be Wen Lin's opponent. Dodging left and right, the reincarnation Sword Chi's attacks were very dense. Wen Lin was continuously attacked. Even if he was strong, he could not continue to resist the reincarnation Sword Chi. He spat out blood and his face was pale. Was he really going to die here? He was unwilling to accept this. Longao, let's join hands? Since things had come to this point, they had to eliminate the root of the problem. Otherwise, if Wen Lin escaped, the consequences would be unimaginable. It was still the same sentence. The previous incident where Su Renfeng caught Yen could not happen again. A mistake could be made once, but it would not be allowed to happen a second time or a third time. The two joined hands. Not only that, but Longao also used the shattering starry sky. Even if Wen Lin was lucky and did not get hit directly, he would not be able to dodge. In this case, Wen Lin was directly swallowed by the space crack and his primordial spirit was destroyed. Looking at the dead Wen Lin, Fang Ye suddenly burst into tears. For tens of thousands of years, in order to take revenge, she did not hesitate to seal herself and Wen Lin, but she still could not kill Wen Lin. After tens of thousands of years, Wen Lin finally died and her great hatred was avenged. Standing aside, Longao did not speak because he could feel Fang Ye's pain. She had lost her family, siblings, and this hatred had been weighing on her for tens of thousands of years. Although Fang Ye was a level 3 starry sky cultivator, she was only a woman. After crying for a long time, Fang Ye gradually stopped. She stood up and looked at Longao in front of her. She said gratefully, "Thank you. Although you did not make me sign the bloodline contract, I will abide by it. From now on, I am an elder of the dragon sect. Unless I die, I will not leave the dragon sect." Longao believed in Fang Ye. Otherwise, he would not have chased after Wen Lin for Fang Ye. Chasing after a level 3 starry sky cultivator was very dangerous. Let's go back. Longao did not know what to say, but he was also surprised. He knew very well what a level 2 starry sky cultivator meant to the sect. P.S. Last night's chapter is added. Today's chapter will be updated. Tomorrow will continue. Chapter 1903. The news that the Master had killed 2 level 3 starry sky cultivators and subdued a level 3 starry sky cultivator soon spread. The whole dragon sect was jubilant. The stronger the Master was, the better it would be for the dragon sect. In the main hall. "You don't want it?" Looking at the martial technique Longao sent back, Fang Ye was a little dumbfounded. This martial technique of her family was famous even in the vast starry sky. If so, Wen Lin would not have slaughtered her family to get this martial technique. What did Longao mean? "Fang Ye, no matter what our relationship was before, from now on, you are an elder of the dragon sect. Since this martial technique is a secret of your family, I will not touch it." She was a little touched, because Fang Ye could feel that what Longao said should be true. "Not only me, as long as you don't take the initiative to hand it over, no one in the dragon sect will dare to steal it." Would anyone dare to steal it? As a level 3 starry sky cultivator, Fang Ye's strength was there. Even so, Fang Ye was a little surprised. "Thank you, but Master, I just said that this martial technique can't be practiced by women, so it's useless for me to keep it. I'll give it to you." "Brother Long, you were too reckless this time." Before Longao had time to look at the martial technique, Purple Thunder Ancestor's voice sounded. The next second, Purple Thunder Ancestor's figure appeared. This is? Purple Thunder Ancestor and Fangya looked at each other, as if they had known each other for some time, and at the same time appreciated each other. Was this love at first sight? My name is Fangya, how should I address you? Purple Thunder. Looking at the two, there was no need for introductions. Longao smiled and shook his head. It seemed that they had fallen in love at first sight. What was wrong with him these days? He was always acting as a matchmaker. Longao slowly retreated, leaving the main hall to the two. Just as Longao had guessed, Purple Thunder Ancestor and Fangya fell in love at first sight. In just a few hours, the two walked together faster than Long Zio and Liuli, which made people tongue-tied. In the secret chamber, Longao opened the booklet that Fangya had given him. He could tell at a glance that it was very old. On the cover of the booklet there were 4 large words: Stellar Transposition. What kind of starry sky martial technique is this? Out of curiosity, Longao opened the first page of the booklet. For when Lin to think so highly of a starry sky martial skill, it was easy to guess what kind of existence it was. As for whether or not to cultivate the stellar transposition, Longao had yet to decide. A starry sky cultivator would not just pick any starry sky martial skill and practice it. They would also have to see if it was suitable for them. Otherwise, if the starry sky martial skill was not suitable for them, not only would they not be able to exert their full power, it would even hinder them. The booklet had a total of 3 pages, but Longao spent a total of 18 hours reading it. It took him about 6 hours to read 1 page. The difficulty of cultivation is so terrifying. Longao smiled helplessly. According to the booklet, it was extremely difficult to cultivate the stellar transposition. In the hundreds of millions of years, only a handful of people had successfully cultivated it. A family with hundreds of millions of years of history. Longao knew very well that no matter how powerful a family was, it would slowly decline with time. Without thinking about anything else, Longao was ready to try this starry sky martial skill. Speaking of which, the booklet did not say what level the stellar transposition was. He began to cultivate the stellar transposition. 2 hours later, Longao had decided to give up on cultivating the stellar transposition because he could clearly feel that this starry sky martial skill was not suitable for him. Instead of wasting time, it was better to return it to Fangya. When Longao returned the booklet to Fangya, Fangya was not surprised at all. This martial skill is too difficult to cultivate. Big Brother Purple Thunder, why don't you try it? Okay. Longao was really happy for Big Brother Purple Thunder and Fangya. Feelings were really unpredictable. Lu Chong had chased Fangya for tens of thousands of years, but he had not succeeded. However, he had only met Big Brother Purple Thunder once, and the two had already walked together. It seemed that the most difficult thing to force in the world was feelings. Speaking of which, it was strange. Longao could not cultivate the stellar transposition, but Purple Thunder Ancestor had only cultivated it for less than an hour and had already reached the entry level. At this speed, it would take at most a few days for him to have some small achievement. When Longao found out about the result, he also sighed ruefully and said, "Family members are bound to be together. Sky Martial Continent in a certain valley." After 10 days of fusion, Su Renfeng and the evil-eye demon dragon were finally reborn. However, their strength had greatly decreased. The two of them were furious to the extreme. They had thought that by capturing Murong Yener, they could force Longao to submit, but what was the result? They tried to steal a chicken only to end up losing the rice used to lure it. Not only did they not get what they wanted, but they also lost their main bodies. If they had not run fast enough, their essence spirits would have been destroyed by now. The two of them had truly witnessed Longao shattering the starry sky. Not to mention the two of them, Even a grade 4 starry sky cultivator would have to be very careful when facing Longao. Otherwise, once a starry sky crack swallowed them, they would die without a doubt. Serene, from now on, you and I will stay here and cultivate. Strive to break through to grade 4 starry sky cultivator within a year. When the catastrophe comes, I want to see how Longao will deal with it. The catastrophe was about to come, because a year was just a matter of minutes for a cultivator. Things had already reached this point. Even if they were unwilling, what choice did they have? Longao's shattering the starry sky was right there. With their current strength, they were not a match for the other party. If they fought, they would not be able to escape with their essence spirits this time, but what about the next time? What about the next time? Elder Brother Evil Eye, I don't need to say more about Longao's talent. I believe you should know that in a year, it's hard to imagine how far Longao's cultivation will break through. Even if you and I break through to grade 4 starry sky cultivator, what if Longao's cultivation also breaks through? I have already thought about this. When the time comes, we will sneak attack Longao. As for the front, we will leave behind the starry sky cultivators who came from the vast starry sky. The evil-eye demonic dragon sneered and said, when the time comes, as long as we spread the news about Longao, I can guarantee that many people will be willing to kill Longao and take away the shattering the starry sky. At that time, even if we can't get what we want, we can take revenge smoothly. Killing with a borrowed knife, Su Renfeng nodded in agreement. In this situation, it seemed that this was the only way. Apart from this, there was no other way to kill Longao. This account would be settled sooner or later. Otherwise, how could he face himself? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.